Yeah. We're live now.
We're live.
Yeah, what's going on, mother lovers? Check, check, check. 1 2 1 2. Can you lot hear me clearly? Let's see. I see the fire emojis already, boy. What's going on, mother lovers? We are back with another event. Yes, I should say that right. Yeah, that's right, innit? It's another event, D. It's another event. Something you might not never know nothing about right here with your host, My Stiggy. That's myself. My co-host over there, Dan DNA. What's going on, bruv? You good?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
All the way over here.
All right. We're getting everything in order. We should be good now with the delays and all that. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully out there, everything is nice and smooth. Let us know if it isn't, because, of course, you got our brother. You know, he's a master mason in his own right. And he knows how to fix it. You know what I mean? Dan DNA, a.k.a. Dan Dolph. You know what I mean? The wizard. What's going on? Uncommon Senses in the building. I see you, man. Big up all the crew. Shout out to Liz Williams. Shout out to Yamore. Big up Temple. What's going on? Regantology. Turbo Tubberlicious. Yes, bruv. What's going on, Robbie Love? All the crew locked in right about now, man. We're about to go in tonight. Big up King Chico. Yes. The family are in the building, man. Something you might not never know nothing about. If you missed last week, please go and catch up. We spoke to Erin Wag, and we had our brother Mem DVG come through, and we went in on the astrology, man. It was an amazing show. People really got...
Yeah, it was heavy going, really.
Yeah.
They went into some big, serious concepts at some points. Yeah.
Definitely. And I think
it's good to get the chat involved with their analysis of their star signs and all that. It's quite nice. Yeah.
Yo, that was hilarious, man, because it was like, we'd reel off whether it was like Pisces or Cancer or something, and then they talk about, okay, these are sort of the aspects, these are, the sort of traits and whatnot. Then Mem would throw in a bit about the, nutrition, like the foods that they should try and eat more of, and then bam, later on, yeah, people back in the comments are like, yo, that was on point. That was me to a T. Yeah, I was like, yo, it's real, man. This thing is real. Like, regardless of whether you believe it or not, it's real. You don't have to believe it. You know what I mean? You can not believe it and it still be real.
You don't have to believe it, but there are people in our chat who do.
Yeah. And they are.
You just have to know there's people in the chat to believe.
Yeah, and they're uncommon senses. And you know what I mean? I think it just takes time for a lot of people. It's like we always say about them they live glasses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why we've got the poster in the back. Them they live glasses, once you got them,
Yep.
Firmly on, nice and clean. Got to make sure your glasses are clean, man. Otherwise, you could get distorted vision. But once they're on, boy, you just see it. You're just like, right,
That's what this is for. That's what I'll keep this back here for.
Oh, to clean your glasses.
The glasses.
Got your little rag. Little glasses rag. You know what I mean? You can't leave home without the glasses rag, man. Like, sometimes you need a rag for a bunch of different stuff as well. You know what I mean? Your different stuff rag. 1 minute it might be a sweat rag. You know what I mean? Man.
Nose rag.
Yeah, exactly. Nose rag. You know what I mean? If worst comes to it, ass rag. Hopefully it won't have to come to that. That'll probably be the last time you use the rag, though, if you're honest with yourself.
You won't really use it as a nose rag.
Most people, anyway. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Once it's the ass rag, that's it. That's done. That's the out the house rag, right? It's like, right, why are you using that rag in the house, though? You're meant to be out, like stranded somewhere. That's the, like, you know what I mean? When are you going to turn it, transformer into an ass rag? Yeah, man. Regantology said, a.k.a. Bomber Clark.
Yeah.
It's true, boy. That's it. That's the final cloth, boy. The bomber cloth. That's it. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, using that again. That's why it became a curse word, man, because You know, that's, you know, the lower level. If you're a Mason, that's like the low level, you know, you're the bottom of you're a bomber club.
The real insult is that, like, you're going to have to throw the cloth away after that. Yeah. That's the real insult.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
like you say, the final use.
Yeah,
you know?
that's it. That's
Not only is it an insult, but you've had to throw the rag away as well, so you've wasted money.
So, like, you may have a clean house, but you ain't got a rag now. Or any more encounters you may have where you might need it.
From mopping the brow to wiping the nose.
Yeah. That's it, man. Brushing away the dandruff.
You
know what I mean?
Wiping your neck.
Yeah. There's levels, man. You mess up, man.
Wiping your mouth after you've had food.
Sex rag. It could be the sex rag. You messed up, man. It's like, right, you know what? I can't even go there because I ain't even got my my sex rag with me. What am I going to do here? Right, she's on it as well. Ah, man. Yep. That's how it goes, mother lovers. You know what I mean? But what we do up here in the bunker, let's just say down here in the bunker, I guess you can have like above ground bunkers nowadays, isn't it? Like,
depends what you're scared of. Depends what you built the bunker for.
That's true, man. Like, yeah, what would you, I mean, above ground bunkers, you're probably just scared of mosquitoes and shit like that.
Rats.
Yeah.
Things blow down to the ground.
Like a greenhouse is kind of...
yeah, I see what you mean,
above ground bunker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but...
Wouldn't fare very well in a nuclear war, though.
Yeah, but what we do here in the bunker is we try and help you, you know what I mean? Put them glasses on. Whether it be in the hip-hop world, speaking to different artists about their life, what they get up to, you know, you see the real them, or the world that we live in, the so-called world. You know what I mean? So I guess tonight is going to help us even more so because his name is SeeThruTheScript, and that's what he does. He helps people see through this crazy script that it seems that we live in. But before we get into that, let's make sure we give a shout out, first of all, to Sam and the crew at CannaCersUK.com. That's right. For all your quality CBD products, make sure you hit them up. That's CannaCersUK.com. And I'm telling you, when it comes to their products, it's not a game, mother lovers. 100% natural CBD balm. That's right, in a sativa form. So if you got any aches or pains from workouts, you know what I mean, for your joints even, you know, some of you lot might get a little arthritis here now and again, you know what I mean, calcifying your jugglings, you got to sort that out. You can get some indica sprays, like the oils, whether you want a sativa or an indica. Indica can make you, you know, calm down a little bit. Sativa can help you pick up your life a little bit. You know what I mean? Wherever you need to be at. You can also get the balm in a full spectrum, which would be both the sativa and the indica together, and you're getting a good variation of cannabinoids in your system there. Quite serious, man. You can also get a full spectrum spray. There are various types of chocolates as well available with infused with CBD, as well as the Belgian chocolate stirrers, which we can never miss out. And make sure, you know, you do your research on the CBD products as well, just so you understand what it can do for you, you know. I think that's like a really important part about it, is just don't like take people's word for it. Is read the reviews, try and decipher what's real and what's not, or, you know, people that you trust, but it's also you got to make sure that it's something that works for you. A lot of people have tried it, and they've definitely said to me, yeah, like they notice a difference. And I think you can tell that a lot as well in comparison to when you buy stuff from the high street and whatnot. When you get to that sort of commercial level of these sort of products, you kind of see, okay, there is a difference in, you know, how the products are made and what other ingredients might be in there, hidden ingredients, you know.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference, man. So, yeah, definitely get on down to CannaCersUK.com and get yourself some quality CBD products. When you get to the checkout, make sure you type in the code SYMNNKNA. That's SYMNNKNA. You get yourself 20% off any of the orders. Shout to Sam and the family. Big up Gleam in the building. What's going on? He says, I think I found where all the love has gone in the world right here. Quick, someone tag the Black Eyed Peas. Tell them we found it after being lost since Heavy D last found it. He's getting deep, boy. Right. What's he blazing on? Hey, roll call, man. What's going on out there? You lot, you know what I mean? What you lot blazing on, man? Talking like this all of a sudden. Let's find out. Yeah, boy. I got a little papaya blazing up, you know what I mean? And some Gary Payton, still the Gary Payton rolling there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, it's been interesting, man.
Gleam's got the Cineola OG and the milkshake.
Oh, that's nice. Turbo Tub's talking about Monster cookies. Woo!
I want a milkshake now.
Yeah, man. Milkshake, boy. You know, the proper milkshakes, like thick ones.
Yeah.
With the ice cream. They're made with the ice cream.
Yeah.
But they've been... What's with this whole thing with the straws, man? Like
paper straws.
Yeah.
I hate them.
I don't... There's the logic in paper straws. I think that alone shows what type of world we're in. Paper straws. Like, are we serious now?
Yeah. They've created more pollution because I now buy plastic straws and then I just throw the paper one away and the plastic one. Whereas before there was only a plastic one getting thrown away after I'd used it. But I buy my own plastic straws. If I go, I always have a bag of plastic straws with me in the car. If I go anywhere and they give me paper straws, I just get a plastic straw out.
It's that war, boy. He's armed with plastic straws. Like, huh?
Yeah.
What? Give me a paper straw. Yeah, the paper straw. And especially with a milkshake as well, because a milkshake ain't something that you just like slurp straight away, like you finish the whole thing. That's over a course of time. And the thing melts. It's like, what is
it's
going
the feeling in your mouth of that wet paper. I've never liked that. And the other thing is like lolly sticks. I've never really liked licking lolly sticks. I always found them a bit like that wood, you know, and across the wood.
It messes up the taste, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always find that messes up the taste. You know what I think that's like? With scented candles.
Yeah.
It's like when you got to blow out the candle, that's it. The whole scent is just messed up by the blown out candle. It's like, what?
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
They get away with it, though. People don't stop buying. No. Black Friday coming up soon, isn't it? Shout out to BLA in the building. What's going on, man? Is someone on edibles? I think I saw the word edible somewhere. Okay.
Liz Williams, paper straws with plastic lids, yeah.
Paper straws with plastic lids. Hilarious.
It's there,
man.
right in front of you.
It's crazy, isn't it? All right. All right. King Chico said, no name but no dog this week. Regantology's on the gushes. Your Moore's loading the bong now with some fresh pollen. Nice. Tis squidgy as yeah. All right, Robbie Love finally got some grade. Don't know the name, but we'll comment the flavor in a minute. Nice. Yeah. The no-name grades, boy. It was, it's a high-grade thing. Like, back in the day, that's what it'd be like, yeah. Well, you got that? Yeah, it's a high-grade thing, you know. Right, high-grade. It's like, yeah. Okay. So you don't know what it is. It could be some lemon haze or, do you know what I mean?
That's that was the naive, heady early days of
that was the
new strains.
Days. Yeah. Like the very early days, boy.
You could just, you could taste it. Yeah. You could go like, it's lemony.
Yeah.
Or like, that's
orangey.
So,
yeah.
Like,
be like orange bud.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's either orange bud, it's like some lemon haze. Yeah. But now, boy, the game done changed. Now you're just reeling off names, bruv. Spaghetti Junction.
Now you're listing it off like it's the what's it called? The Hereditary book you get. What's it called? Burke's Peerage. You're like listing off the fucking heritage of the street.
Yeah, isn't it? It's true, boy.
And then Yellow Haze
Bug
begat.
peerage. Yeah.
OG dog begat.
Oh, that's hilarious, man. And then Star Dog begat. Road Dog. Yeah. But it's interesting, man, seeing what people are blazing here and there. And you can tell what's about as well. There's like a batch of something about people. Yeah, we're on blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they're on the same thing. Who else? Yeah, chalk ice paper. That's a good one.
Oh,
Liz Williams is
chalk
right.
ice
Man.
paper. Yeah, that was horrible as well.
Yeah, there are a few things like that don't make sense. Where you're like, why would you mix the two together? But definitely, paper straws is a weird one. It's almost like a kind of mockery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, hurry up and drink it and buy more. Quick. And get another straw, because you ain't going to be able to use this one again. You know what I mean? At least with a plastic one, you could use it again. You go and fill up. You know what I mean? What people doing there, like Nando's filling up. Like they get more full up off the... When people go Nando's, or you used to go Nando's, they get more full up off the drinks.
Yeah, off the free...
Off the fizzy drink.
refills,
the food refills. Yeah.
Probably still have a plastic straw for that, wouldn't they, in Nando's? Because it's not single use. You're using it a couple of times.
Well, that's the thing. You'd think so, man. But if it's paper, that ain't working, man.
No.
Paper, like you said, they're using more.
Yeah.
Causing more havoc, man. We've got to do an investigation into like what percentage of your recycled material is actually recycled. Because I remember hearing a while ago that it isn't that much as you think. It's like 20% or something like that. But that was a while ago. Maybe things have changed now. But it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
because,
that is a good one.
Yeah, it's funny how much, you know, we kind of buy into these things and then without realizing that, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What? Look, Gleam said 3%.
Wow. Gleam's someone I trust with that sort of number as well.
Yeah, we might need citations on that, though. We might need some, you know what I mean, sources. Big up to Amy Thru. What's going on? Said the climate always changes. Hashtag HOP. Yeah, we know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. That's the thing is, isn't it? They're saying it's man-made, though. They're saying that us little, you know, how when you go up in the plane and you see how little we are compared to the buildings. You go so high that you can't even see us furthermore, let alone the buildings. You get that high. They're saying that we're the reason
Gleam was,
that the climate changes.
Gleam was guessing.
Yeah,
Right.
I didn't believe that,
We've
the
lost
3%. Yeah.
Right, I'm not going to rely on Gleam.
I felt like he was joking there anyway. But yeah, you know, it'll be interesting to find that out. How much of it is really getting recycled? Because I don't think it's a lot of it. Or as much as we think anyway. Yeah. I wonder what does happen though. Yeah, smart cities. That's the next one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what they're pushing towards. Get everybody in a
That's
electric car and then
Yeah. But then how do you all charge your electric car in a block of flats?
yeah.
But they don't want you on electric cars. They want you on bicycles, like in China or else, you know. They want like a few people in cars. They want everyone else on bikes. Or just not leaving your house at all for longer than 15 minutes.
Oh, is that what the 15-minute thing is? You can't leave your house for longer than 15 minutes?
You can't go further than 15 minutes away or something from your house. You can't go...
So you only have half an hour out?
You can't leave. You can't go further than 15 minutes away from your house. So you can spend time in the city, but you can't leave the city.
What, and that's going to save the planet?
Apparently, that's going to save the planet. And then,
Wow.
I suppose they're sort of trialing it with COVID, weren't they? That was like a trial of this idea that like you're going to just stay indoors all the time and just maybe go out for a walk, bit of exercise. Yeah, like battery farming.
Yeah, okay.
Literally farming batteries.
So the idea is to keep everyone in that place where... Oh, what? Hold on a minute. Yeah, the idea is to keep everyone in that place where they think like, okay... Well, hold on,
Yeah, and like Amy True's saying there, is that they keep you in your house and then just hit you with all your Wi-Fi frequencies and your Bluetooth and your God knows what else, your smart meter and your TV, and you just sit in your house frying.
That's one of them, like, it's always getting put out there like that, but then you try and think, like, for one, like you said about plugging in, how is everyone going to plug in to recharge? But then it's like, let alone, how is that going to work? How is everybody going to be like, yeah, okay, I'm going to stay at home, I'm not going to go further than 15 minutes away because they said it's hard to see it happening.
Let all the suckers do that. It'd be more street for me.
Yeah,
I'll always find a reason.
I mean, it was like the lockdown, man.
No, yeah. Do you know what? I bumped into someone today. He said, "Oh, I've just had my jab in October and my flu jab, and I've had 3 colds since then." He's like that.
Is it?
I was like, "Oh, right, yeah." And he's like, "Do you know what I think it was? I think that we sanitized ourselves so much during the lockdown that we've killed all our bacteria."
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
You might have. I didn't want to say it. I was just like, yeah, just walked out. But it's like, I didn't change anything. That's what I'll do the next time they do one of these things. Nothing will change in my life. I'll just carry on as normal. I'll find an excuse not to do what they want.
Yeah, I think it kind of made it a bit easier for people to be worried about getting sick as well. You know, just the fact that it was highlighted so much. Do you know what I mean? And then planted it into their psyche. And then, for one, is like, you don't really want to think about the other side, like what we look at, and then think like, what? So what does that mean then? If they're able to do that, what else can they do? Not everybody can really handle that level of reality, I guess. And so it's easier to just be like, you lot are just chatting rubbish, man. Whatever, conspiracy theorists, man. Oh, what? So yeah, there's some big evil, like, that kind of thing. It's easy to fob it off, but then in reality, man, I think a lot of people are seeing that it's quite a possibility, like weird things like that could be happening. Turning into a smart city. We've already gone into like what they mean in the smart.
Smart's really only a word that come in with America anyway. Before, we never used to use the word smart growing up. We used to say clever. I don't remember ever using the word. Smart to us was what you wore. You dressed up smart.
Yeah.
You were dressed smartly.
Yeah.
But I don't remember it being used for something to do with your brain, like smart. You got smart, that was an American thing.
Yeah, I guess so. But that's the connection there, is like the smart, you dress sharp, and then something sharp can cut you, can hurt you, can put you in pain.
Yeah.
And so the meaning of smart is to be put in pain, as weird as it may sound. But then, so when you think about a smart city...
Yeah, we might have said smart city. Might have said smart Alec as well, about somebody who was a bit of a show off, big brain type thing.
Witty.
And so it was more of an insult. Smart Alec. Like, oh yeah, whatever. But now it's become this word that everyone's just smartphone, smart city, smart car,
smart meter.
Oh,
so smart cars. Oh my days! Do you remember the first smart car?
Yeah.
It's the little
car, yeah.
Jeez.
City, like a tiny little one just for the 15-minute city.
Wow, man. And then you can park it like this way as well, innit? You don't have to park it like
you still see hack people just parked it the other way around. Like, I can fit it in the other way around.
Is that what you call them? Hack people?
We're just like,
oh, I could park like this.
you're like, yeah,
Could you
okay.
park like
We've seen that for 20 odd years now. You've been parking those cars. They're like, you do know they park this way as well.
Wow, they were called smart cars for real. So you were possibly put in pain because a lot of people were talking about, like, that's all anyone would say. It was like, right, imagine, you know, God forbid, but you got in an accident in that car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's dangerous, boy.
I was thinking the other day, smart meter, all it is a way of detecting how smart you aren't. If you've got one, you're not very smart. That's it, a smart meter. You've got a meter in your house. It's like a meter that detects how smart you are. If you let them do that, you're not very smart.
Yeah. And so is it like they're, you know, they seem like they're bullying their way in to try and get people to...
Yeah, I think it was private companies or something were contracted to fit the smart meters, and they were breaking into people's out, you know, wherever their meter was, if it was outside or, you know, around the back of the gate or something. They were breaking into people's flats. My nephew, they broke into his flat, into the hallway of the flats, and he filmed himself going out there, and they're in the hallway fitting a smart meter in his cupboard.
Yeah.
Jeez. And he had to chase them off.
Damn, man.
Yeah. Mad, isn't it?
Yeah, that is crazy. So you just got to be vigilant about it. They're going to try their best to, you know what I mean, get it in your mind that you have to do this thing. But if you read in between the lines, you'll definitely see, you know, you don't have to do that.
Nah.
All right, man. Yeah, man. And before we get into it, let's give a shout out as well to Richie and Torain. Congratulations, of course. Big up the seamossboss.co.uk for all your 100% organic, wild-crafted sea vegetables. Jeez. And when we're talking about vegetables, all types, man. You got wakame, you know what I mean? You got spirulina, you got dulse, you got sea moss, of course, bladderwrack. The vegetables are straight from Ireland products.
I've got Irish in the chat now.
Oh, is he in the chat now? Yes, big up, big up Irish, man. Yeah, what you know? Currently working on a 12-hour night shift. Woo! But I can Sky better than the rest of them. That's hilarious, man. Yes, salute, man. Hard working, boy. Big up Richie, man. Yes. And of course, as well as that, he's supplying beautiful products, man. Straight from the coast, you know what I mean? Wild crafted and organic. And certified by the Irish Organic Association, of course. Harvested from the rocks, mother lovers. And trust, man, the nutrition levels on all of these, man. You know what I mean? Like, there's no need for me to even... like, try and exaggerate. Like, I know it's real, man. The way my bones and everything are growing, my nails, you know what I mean? Everything's growing out good. I'm feeling good, recovering well. And I definitely, like, would put a lot of that, you know, the reason that's happening because I'm taking CMOS very often. Vitamins A, C, and E, all involved, man. You got antioxidants, you know what I mean? All kind of compounds, nutrients, the benefits, healthy heart, can promote weight loss, source of iodine. Iodine is very good for the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland is very important, mother lovers. You got to look after that. Gut health can help you with gut health and can boost your immunity. You know what I mean? All you lot getting ill everywhere, here, there, now and again. You know what I mean? Get on the CMOS. I'm telling you, it's going to help you. The nutrition level is dense. Yeah. It can help you with, you know what I mean, bad breath even. You know what I mean? Healthy skin. How many people I know now said they've been on the CMOS, their skin feels a lot better. You know what I mean? It's there, man. I ain't got to exaggerate. If you want to get the best products, though, make sure you go to the cmosboss.co.uk. You know what I mean? When you get to the checkout, make sure you type in about 20. That's all caps, ABOUT 20, and you'll get yourself 20% off any orders, man. If you want that Wolverine level, you know what I mean, of growth, get yourself some sea vegetables from the cmosboss.co.uk. I'm not lying, boy. Telling you. Right, I've hit up...
and big up Irish there as well,
man.
who's just
Irish
super chatted us a tenner.
Oh, what?
Yes.
Come on. How you going on, bruv?
He's doing the 12-hour shift, so he's obviously coining it in on the 12-hour shift.
Yeah, he's a joker, man. Yes, yeah. Man. Link
Appreciate
up soon
that.
as well, man. Link up soon, brother. Appreciate that, man. Highly. This is something you might not never know nothing about. We're after hours now. Yeah. Some shit you might not never know nothing about is about to go down. Bitches and bitchettes.
Right, we got him in the thing.
I'm your host, Mice Diggy. I've got my co-host, Dan DNA. And we're about to bring up someone who I've been saying, you know what I mean, about like getting people to see things through those they live glasses. This is one guy that's definitely helped me with that. And it helped a lot of you out there as well, man. I'll be getting people hitting me up saying, yeah, man, this stuff's deep, boy. So, yeah, it gives me pleasure to welcome back to the show, man. SeeThruTheScript. What's going on, bruv? Yeah, good, man. Good. How are you, brother?
Man, I'm good. It's been a hot minute, man.
Yeah, for real, man. You've been working hard out there, boy.
Trying to, you know, try to step up the game a little bit. But yeah, man, it's good to be on with you guys, man. How's everybody feeling, man? What's up, Dan DNA?
Yes,
DNA
mate.
Dan, correct?
Yeah.
Dan DNA,
good,
Dan DNA.
All good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's good to be back, man.
Yeah, good.
I was tapping in while you guys were you know, going along.
Yeah.
And there was definitely a few things that sparked my interest that you guys were talking about for sure.
Yeah, man. I know. It's man, for you, obviously, like seeing things, seeing the world the way you're seeing it, and like, I think it's really interesting, obviously, syncing things together once you're seeing these sort of patterns and whatnot. For you, it must be like, of course this is happening like this. Of course this is gonna, you know.
It's definitely an interesting like way of going about looking at the conspiracy world, I guess you could say, you know. That's definitely, yeah, the looking at it through a numerical sense is definitely adds another layer to it that, you know, just most wouldn't think about. I didn't think about it at one point either.
Yeah. And I guess the thing is, you just don't, because we don't think about it because you just don't think it's that deep. You think, oh, obviously this is what they're trying to do. But then when you look at like the fact that there seems to be some kind of order, some kind of pattern behind it all, and almost to the point where, you know, me and Dan have joked about like how many people are there, like piecing this together, like making sure it happens in this sort of way. If it's been for how long, you know what I mean, as well. We don't know how long or whatever, but...
Yeah. I mean, that's like, you know, I wish I could say I fucking knew, you know, so much more than I did, and I really knew like exactly what was happening, to the extent of how it's organized. But I could only imagine that, you know, there's deeper forces at hand. I know that might sound like generic or like corny to some, but like that's just what I think it is. Like I think is deeper than human to an extent, you know what I mean? Either like human tapping into like, you know, just some different side of, or different frequency that, you know, maybe a very low frequency and vibration coming from these people with what they do. And I don't know, man, it's very fascinating. I mean, you really start to see, even if you you know, take away like numbers, you could just see how they repetitively use like the same symbols. and that's always what like catches people's eye, I think, first, way before numbers and letters and gematria come into the picture.
Yeah, I guess you're right in that sense, for sure. Colors as well. There seems to be a whole thing about using
Definitely.
certain schemes for the year, and then also the fact that there's this thing of linking other countries as well, without people even realizing. You know, like it all seems to be a big sync from over to China, from China to America. I don't know. You know, it
Yeah.
might be South America somewhere as well, and you know, all mixed up like that. So yeah, it's that side of it, like trying to figure out who and how many and whatnot. I think that's a whole nother level of
Yeah,
digging into it.
exactly.
You know?
I think that's a whole other side to it.
Yeah.
I think, you know, there's groups of people or societies or religious entities or whatever that we point fingers to, you know, like a lot of people look at the Vatican, the
Yeah.
Freemasons, the Knights of Malta, like, you know, black nobility, like it just all these skull and bones, whatever, you know. So there's definitely so many like organizations. Then you have these corporations that they almost extend their power through, right? Like
Yeah.
they put these people in high positions to be in certain countries, or sorry, certain corporations, being able to, you know, pull strings essentially,
Yeah.
and sort out their agenda how they want through through legal means. Like you
Yeah.
guys were
Yeah.
just talking about the smart cities and stuff like that. I saw everybody in the chat. By the way, what's up, everybody, to the chat? You
Yeah,
know,
man.
yeah, I think the smart city thing is crazy. Actually, I gotta find it, but there was a clip of this like young girl at a protest, and I think it was in the UK, man.
Yeah.
UK or like Ireland or something like that. But basically, she was talking about how these smart cities are the last thing that she wants in her future as like a young 12-year-old, and like just basically going off. And I was just like, oh
Yeah,
man,
I
this
think I've
is
seen that.
lit.
Yeah.
And then she even like mocked what's her name, Greta Thunberg.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking Greta, man. Yeah, she mocks her at the end, and she's like, how dare you try to enact your smart cities. Sorry for the accent, you know, but it's
good.
That was
too
good,
good, man.
Yeah, that was good accent, bro.
You know, I'm trying, mate. No, I'm fucking with you.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yo, what do you guys think about this? Is so random, man. This is probably very much off topic for what
No, man.
I talk about, but what do you guys think about the show Top Boy?
Oh,
I've never even watched one episode.
yeah, Top Boy. You know, I watched it when it first started, and then when I saw what it's about, I was like, you know,
Yeah,
'cause it's
yeah.
just-
I feel like it's a show that like people outside of the UK would probably enjoy more than the people in it.
yeah. It's for that's what it's for. It was like when I remember I was in Australia when I first saw Kidulthood. Kidulthood. Do you remember that film? It was a UK film. It's a street film, Kidulthood. Yeah, and I already kind of knew, you know, where it was going.
Kidulthood was written by
Noel Clark.
Was he in the original Top Boy? Was it him and?
Yeah, he's you know, Top Boy. He's kind of it's that realm of and I know what they're doing. You know, like it's like promoting a certain like Kidulthood started to form a culture of kids talking like that. They never really spoke like that before.
True.
But then all of a sudden they were like, yeah, what? No. Like they saw in Kidulthood, so you could see like this is the tool that, you know, this is what this tool was used for. And then it's built this whole, you know, like you see we've got this whole drill kind of world.
I was just about to ask, man, because obviously the type of music that you make is more traditional. I feel like right now, you know, obviously you got this big whole drill movement, which I think honestly, I don't know, I'll just say this right away, like I think the drill movement is just like straight demonic, like honestly. Like I don't know how else to put it, because the stuff that they talk about is just it's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Like, it's
Yeah.
wild, disrespectful. It's just like, I don't know. It's crazy. But either way, yeah, I was curious to get your take on how you see that scene in the UK right now.
Yeah, I mean, like the bits and bobs that I see, like the last time I looked at it like deeply was when I noticed that there were these videos that were going out where it would be somebody that's sort of commentating on the beefs that are going on. So it's all in my mind, I'm seeing them just highlighting what the beefs are. So now whatever these crews are talking about is out there for the world to know, like, this is what they said in this. But, you know, they might be trying to say it in a sort of slick way where only they know what's being said. But now that they know that the public knows about it via this, you know, whoever it is that's kind of magnifying this thing, then all of a sudden now it creates more. And I already felt like the music industry had turned more into that anyway. It wanted everything to be more gangster and more about selling drugs and killing and
big time
negative, like you said, demonic stuff. And then it just felt like, this is the natural path from the grime world. As long as people were getting more intelligent, then the industry wouldn't be able to jerk them as good. So they're better off going for more like Soldier Boy, like kids that just want to be famous, that just want to, hey, whatever, I'll do whatever you want, you know, kind of thing. So
yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. I think right now what's kind of weird is, like, a lot of people want to have influence, but they don't know what they want to do with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, they just kind of want to have it.
Yeah, it's part of the kudos now. You know, before you had skill, but now it's just influence.
Yeah, exactly. Even the term influencer is just, I still find it funny, because it's always like the worst type of person that's labeled that. I'm like, really? Like, that's someone you want to be influenced by? Like, you know?
It's true.
But it's literally the least opposite people you would think to be called. Like, if I would think of that term, like, before it became popular, I would think of, like, just generically speaking, at least, like someone who's well educated, or like in like a good business sphere or something like that, you know, or like just someone like in a good position, not like an OF, like an OnlyFans model or something like that. You know, it's like, she's an influencer. I'm like, what? Like, what are you influencing?
Who as well? Like, you better watch who the hell she's influencing, man. With that OnlyFans. That's crazy.
That's a big fact.
It's true, man.
Influenza.
You know that they have the same root meaning: influence and influenza.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Making you sick. Yeah. Like an influenza was like, you look in the sky and you might see a streak of light that influences you, and then now you've caught this kind of influence from it. You know? And then 2 days later, I sneeze, and then I see Dan. And then he's influenced by my sneeze. And then when he sneezes, he's like, I think it was him. It was mice. You know? Yeah, man. Crazy world, man.
It's strange, man. It's very, very strange right now. But I think I don't know. What do you guys think about, to switch the topic a little bit? What do you guys think about what's happening in Ohio? You guys hear about that whole East Palestine train derailment story?
Yeah, I watched your video on it, man. I've got to say, bruv, man, let me just say this, man. You've been killing it with the videos of late, man. Like, it's really been
thank you, man.
Some interesting.
I appreciate that.
The topics you've touched on are stuff that are relevant, as well as the fact that I think, like, you've gone way deeper than people even expected you could on, like, that whole level as well, because there's obviously the thing with the numbers, but then when you look at the history, and then there might be that symbology behind it all, you're unraveling that with a lot of the videos as well. So it's made it a lot more interesting than I think people thought it could be, you know?
That's dope, man. Again, I really appreciate that. And yeah, man, the main goal right now with the channel is try to make these type of topics palatable for people who, like, are just early in the stage, but at the same time, like, it might be a little more complex, but it's more palatable the way that they're seeing it, the video format or whatever. So, yeah, it's been fun like playing around with editing and learning that and like trying to just fuck around and get a little better here and there.
Yeah, because you got add humor in it as well. There's humor to it as
You
well.
got
So
it, yeah. I think so, man. Because like in I don't know, in the weirdest way, like sometimes you'll just see like one of these fucked up like headlines, not like a death headline or something, but just like a weird stupid headline. I can't think of one right now, and I'll just kind of like chuckle and be like, man, look how like evil this shit is. Like I don't know what to say anymore. Like because it just happens so much, and it you know, it just seems like still the majority of people refuse to acknowledge it in any way. That you kind of just see it and you're just kind of like, it's like a cynical chuckle in the weirdest way. But yeah, man, this East Palestine, Ohio thing is very interesting. I found just because like it apparently, I don't know if you, so for those who don't know what happened, and I think a lot of people do, I'm not sure, but essentially on February 3rd, a Norfolk Southern railway or what is it called? Train. What am I talking about? A train derailed, spilt a bunch of chemicals into the ground in this small town with just under 5,000 people, and they took about 2 weeks to really put major action from like FEMA, the FEMA government, to come in and do any sort of cleanup. They're telling people it's safe to go home, you know, like 2 days after it happened. So it's a very like strange situation. And oddly enough, there's a film called White Noise that released on August 31st of 2022 initially. And it was literally about a train derailing in Ohio, causing an airborne toxic event to happen, is what they called it in the movie. And it's just like, damn, like, you know, that's pretty fucked up. You know, so what are the odds of that? Just take away like any numbers, for example, right? It's just that aspect of the story is pretty strange. But then just recently I found out, I wish I found this out before I put out that video, but hey, you know, you always learn it as you go. That in Ohio, specifically East Palestine, the place that it happened, they were rolling out a program, a digital ID program called My ID. And this was like 4 or 5 months before the train derailment happened. And in that, or with that concept, was to basically help people with like medical issues. That's how they're presenting it. They're trying to make it seem like a convenience to people. Like, you know, go here, get your medical ID or digital ID wristband. And essentially, if you have any like medical urgencies, we'll come to you faster. So like they're just trying to, you know, sell it to people. And it's just like, wait a second, medical injuries, digital ID, wristbands, strange movie, predicts or more or less foreshadows what's going to happen. Same event happens. You know, it's like, what are the odds of all these things, you know? Very, very strange how these events happen. Most are just quick because, you know, we all live in a busy lifestyle, people doing their things, school, work, family, whatever. And people are just like, man, it's fucked up. Like, you know, and I don't know. I don't think anything's behind it. Like, you know, it's just the way it is. Like, you know, shit happens. Trains derail. And I'm like, true, to an extent, you know, you're not wrong. Trains derail. Shit does happen. But you have to look at the scope of also how they're handling it, too. Because, like, again, the government, or specifically like the governor of Ohio, he was like very quick to tell people, you know, like things are okay. And, you know, you can like go back home, relax, like it's all good. And then, you know, you have people on the other hand going around in these like lakes and rivers around the area and exposing that, like, look, like there's clearly like chemicals in this water.
Yeah. And
like this water doesn't look like fresh water you can just scoop up or put your hands in. And then ultimately you have Joe Biden going to Ukraine or where was it, like Poland? I think he went to Poland recently. And just like I think yesterday or today, I don't even know, but I know a couple days ago. And again, it's just like what is he doing over there? Meanwhile, on American soil, you have this whole problem that can potentially affect a lot of people. Granted, the waterway connections to the Ohio River, which is a big contribution to a lot of people's waterways in the United States. So it's like, you just think about like all that, you know, even removing the numbers. Once you start to like kind of piece things together, it kind of looks, it sounds, it looks a bit strange. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They I think the governor as well said that he couldn't get FEMA in because it wasn't a natural disaster, and but then there's some other record of him contacting FEMA the day before he'd said that. So he must have known he could have contacted FEMA about it, and then in the end, FEMA did come in and offer assistance as well. So and that was after like 12 days or something. It weren't even right at the beginning. So he's basically. And then I think he got like some sort of town hall thing where he was being confronted by loads of people, and he got made to look really stupid in front of loads of the townspeople and all that. And
I think I just saw him too, like drink a glass of water. Not out of like someone's tap. You know, they tried to do the whole it's safe, Flint, trust us because we're in a suit.
Yeah. They done that over here with the when we had the mad cow disease thing, where they said that all the burger meat was contaminated. Do you remember the politician made his son eat the burger in front of the press?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
How low is that? Make your son eat.
It's just, it's wild, but facts. He's like, you could die, not me.
That's dark, isn't it?
That's the true sacrificial lamb.
Yeah. Oh man. That was dark, boy. I wonder what date that was on, boy. Jeez.
Oh man, yeah, I have to look into that one honestly, because man, I like when it comes to a lot of the like these big like sort of publicized events, or you know, I don't know, man. It's you just always find, well, if you're kind of tapped into with Gematria and you've kind of played with it for a while and started to put it into practice consistently. You definitely start to see like there's just always tends to be like some sort of numerical pattern going on with these events. And also too, this year is 2023.
Yeah.
And in the rules of numerology, you would remove the 0, so we are left with the 223. And that number is a reflection of 322, 223, 322. And that number is associated with the Skull and Bones. And the Skull and Bones Society, their symbol is the skull and crossbones. And then the whole scenario right now in East Palestine, Ohio, they call it Palestine, by the way. But anyways, that whole scenario is about toxic chemicals coming out into the ground and seeping into the soil, etc. And the toxic symbol is skull and crossbones, right? So it's just interesting, like when you really look at it and you step back and it's just like, man, this is all strange, Obviously it helps to have follow people who are tapped into some sort of like this type of mindset, because obviously there's people who none of their friends think like this.
Yeah, for sure. Like you can't speak to anybody about this sort of stuff because they lock off, or you get those fluoride, the fluoride stare, we call it, where it's just
that's jokes. I like that, the fluoride stare. Man, it's weird. It's very weird how people will tune out on you when you talk about this stuff sometimes. Like they just they hear it, but they don't want to listen. It's like it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, because you realize like you're going through stuff, he's going through stuff, she's going through, like everyone's going through their different motions, and the same time they're still having to deal with this reality that we're all in, that we're all dealing with, regardless of what you're going through on the inside or in your little world, in this world that we all cross roads and brush shoulders with. There's this thing going on. And you've got to deal with it in some form of way. And not everybody can deal with it in a way where they're able to, let alone communicate how they feel, like take in anything anyone else is going to say. Do you know what I mean? And so you kind of realize, like, wow, okay, maybe you're just, all right, you're not ready for it. But it's worrying because you think about what could be coming ahead, and if they're not ready now, how are they going to deal with what could be, you know, in the future? That's the worrying thing. So it's hard for people when you're quite tapped in and you're conscious to even just settle with, all right, I'll just let it be. It's hard to do that as well, you know. It's a tricky one, man.
No, that was well said. That was well said. I agree. Like at the end of the day, people have a lot going on as well, and they'd rather ignore the bigger scope, the bigger scope of things to deal with the internal side of what they, or at least try to deal with what they got going on. So yeah, no, that's a good point, man. That's a good point.
Yeah,
and
it's tricky for them.
I think the more you like sort of, you know, talk about this type of stuff or tap into it, you know, for me personally, like I don't really try to, you know, here, the best way I could say it is Dan was talking about earlier how someone was telling him about, oh, like, I think we sanitize too much, you know, and that's why I'm getting sick and all that stuff. And he was like, yeah, you know, for sure. Like, you know, and just kind of brush it off. That's the same way I would go about it at this point. It's not worth like always trying to have, you know, like a rebuttal or squeeze in a little truth bomb or something. I don't know. It's like, fuck it, man. Let you do.
It's all right.
It's
been 3 years. If you don't know by now.
That's
a fact too. Exactly. So much. It's, you know what, speaking of 3 years, it's like, it's so funny how so much of the narrative is unfolding right now in terms of like, oh, this was false, or this was not correct, or they said this was how to do it, but now it's not that, you know, it's actually not true at all. It's like,
there's so many things. We were talking about that earlier. We were saying like, man, what happened to this? What happened to that guy saying that? What happened to like all these people that set up their little, you know, Patreons and they were on BitChute or whatever. Oh yeah, I got kicked off of YouTube, so now I'm on BitChute. Follow me on XRP R2R. You know, invest in this, blah blah blah. They're missing like all of them. Going, oh yeah, so and so's been arrested.
Some people. Do you remember? One we were talking about earlier was King John. There was suddenly this guy appeared called Gregory Hallett. He was Australian, and he said he was the true King of England, and that he was going to link up with Trump, and they was going to take over the Western world, and the Queen was being deposed, and all this. And it's just, what happened to him? Where's he gone?
All of that, bruv. That was all just to keep it feeling like it's real. To keep you feeling like, oh, well, okay. Sure,
some hope, It was after Trump had lost, wasn't it? Because then they was like, no, Trump's won, really. So Trump's really won the election, and this is an illegal election. And so just all that.
You know, it's crazy, too, because like early, or I would say like a year into the whole, you know, the pandy. The pandemic, whatever. A lot of people were actually like influencers, quote unquote influencers, were actually getting like sponsors to talk about and promote the agenda, essentially, in the sense of like, you know, wear your diaper, you know, do this. They're doing like 6 feet apart songs and shit. It's just like, what? Like, you know, and then they even got exposed after, and people are like, oh, you know, like, well, shit, like, you know, they gotta get money. And I'm like, see, like, you know, like, where do you draw the line with like what's happening right now? You know, people, they always like, it'll get one step closer to their door, and they'll like somehow move their house back 1 inch or something. Like, that's the best way I can put it. Like, you know, they're like, no, not yet. Like, you know, I see what you're saying, but it's like, I don't know, Dan, like, dude, the whole agenda is just unfolding in front of your face. And it's just interesting to see what they're kind of moving it forward to, you know? Like you guys were talking about like the 15-minute cities and, you know, the plastic straws, or sorry, the paper straws, which definitely suck ass. That's for sure.
What is the point of the paper straw?
It's
serious,
especially
man.
Someone else said it too. They're just like the plastic lid with the, you know, paper straws. Facts. You know, it's facts. It's like, what is this? And it just makes no sense. It's like, come on. But people are like, come on, man, you just got to do your part. And you know what? Actually, to just take it there for a quick second, everything they do, they always make it so it's like you feel guilty Like, for example, like you have Black Lives Matter,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
was very much to make people feel guilty.
yeah.
You know, whether you're white, black, Asian, whatever, like that's what that was for. It was to
That's on
make, it was
point.
play on people's conscience. Then you have the pandemic, play on people's conscience, do it to save someone else, do it to do this, you know. Then you have climate change. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah,
It's do it to save the environment,
yeah,
which will
that's the
save the world,
spell.
right? So you know who preaches that? The one central, I don't want to say the one central, but definitely the most powerful that actually preaches that openly is the Vatican. The Vatican and Pope Francis in his papal encyclicals will often talk about the phrase the common good and doing things for the greater good of humanity. And everything is always pushed through this guise of, if you got to play your part, you know, you got to feed into whatever we're telling you, which is ultimately leading to our agenda, but we're going to guilt trip you into it. So, you know, it's really interesting
Retain
how
your
they play
enemy.
with us in their agendas.
It's you can see it's okay. So it's similar to like making you feel like you got to repent for your sins, right? Like you've
Very
committed some
much.
kind of
Yeah,
sin
they're almost,
in a formal way,
yeah, using that religious aspect into it. Yeah.
making you feel guilty
Actually,
if you don't do it. You know, guilt and the whole thing of like wearing the face diaper so other people feel guilty for not.
Yeah, he's doing it for other people. You wanted,
Yeah.
yeah, the whole time it was like you got to do this to save your nan
I'm
or to
doing it for
save
you.
someone else.
Yeah.
yeah, man. Like I remember whenever I think back to like the earliest stages of the last 3 years and what happened, I just remember how interesting it was how people were so like just like in a trance. And essentially they they were just like, especially your own family or friends, it's just like, you know, like dude, just chill out. Like, you know, don't you care about this person? Like,
Yeah.
you know, and everybody was literally trying to guilt trip you. And it was just like,
Yeah.
man, like,
Yeah.
chill out for a sec. Just relax. Like,
Yeah.
I think you're consuming too much of this square box with a bright light and sound, you know? And it's just interesting, man. It's very interesting, actually. Have you guys seen the show? It was actually a UK show first, Utopia, from 2014.
Yeah. I watched it through the pandemic and I realized like, oh
Did
wow.
you watch the UK version or the
Yeah. I watched the UK
United States
version
version?
first and then the American version.
Yeah, yeah. They're very like, you know, they're pretty similar, but that in that film or that TV series, one of the main lines is like, "What do you do to earn your place on this earth?" That's what one of the big like pharmaceutical giants in the TV series often says.
Wow, proper
And
eugenics.
it's
Like,
just, it's like it goes into that whole guilt tripping thing, you know?
yeah. What do you do? Like, what are you worth? Like, what's the point in you being here? Like, prove
Yeah.
it, you know? And if you can't think, if you're like, well, then now you're going to feel guilty for even being alive. Like, why am I here? What's the
Yeah,
point?
dude. You know what? I'm so glad you just said that because that reminds me. I actually got that post taken down on Instagram, so I'll try to dance around my words. But uh, um, speaking of not wanting to be alive, in Canada, they're offering self-deleting, if you know what I mean.
What?
Yes.
Self-deleting. You know what I'm
I've
saying,
heard
right?
about. Yeah, I've heard about this.
Serious?
Yeah.
I swear, if you say the word, even I don't want to even screw you guys
What?
over,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
So
Rhymes
for
with you
people
and I.
that don't know, hopefully they know. Google it or something. Go on like Urban Dictionary and type in self delete. But
What?
yeah, they're offering that in Canada. They're like advocating for that. There's countries like, I believe, don't quote me, but like, I don't know, like Norway or Switzerland. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But
Switzerland have had it for a few. And Norway.
Where
I think.
they're offering the service. Where they
Yeah,
allow
if
you
you're
to do that
unhappy,
somewhere.
if you don't feel like you've had if you feel like you've been dealt a bad hand,
Are you serious?
especially after the last 3 years.
What? How do they? So what? Okay, so because they've got to assess. They need to assess whether you're like there's some mental instability there before they can say like, okay, yeah, this person really wants to do it. Come on, man.
I
Like, what
think
kind of
they're
madness is
hoping
that?
you've got mental instability.
So
You
what?
know what I mean?
What you're
Yeah.
paying
They're
them
like,
for
oh
this to
no, this
happen?
person's too good. No, just let him be. Let him be.
No, wait, they could make us more
Like, you're
money.
too smart. We
Yeah,
need you.
this person is genuinely
Yeah.
just sad. We've
Wait,
gotta
you
let
can play the
them know.
guitar? Oh, no, wait. Nah, man.
Yeah,
That's,
man.
wow.
It goes to show like there seems to be some sort of direction that the overarching powers that shouldn't be are going, and they give it to us in bits and pieces all around the world. Like, it really doesn't matter. That's like, it's the new world order. It's always been the new world order, and they break it down in pieces and bits. Things happen in sequences. Sometimes, like as of lately, it seems like things have kind of been happening like all at once. There's a
Yeah.
lot of like
Yeah.
big moments that are tripping people out on a mass scale.
Yeah, it's like, I like that term you use, energy harvesting. That's basically what it is getting people to, like, at the moment we've had this story about a lady that died and disappeared, and they thought she would be in the river but couldn't find her for weeks. And then there's been people speculating this, that, and the third about the family. Some of the interviews just don't look right, and but it seems to have just been this thing of kind of keeping people locked into this story, which creates worry, makes you think about, that could happen to me, or happen to my sister, happen to anyone near me. So that's that energy. Then there's the worry for the family as well. Then there's the worry about whether the family are even involved in it, like the sisters moved in with the husband and with the family and whatnot when they were there. Then there are children that are so all of these things just keep people sort of locked in and harvest their energy, whilst something over here could be going on that they have no ideas happening. We don't know.
Exactly, man. And here's the crazy thing. There could be a lot. I started to think about it more recently, about the idea of their energy harvesting, and like, a lot of the times we associate it like distraction ritual from something greater, which it most likely is, but it's realistically distracting you from yourself. And focusing on yourself and it's like, I'm not saying to not show sympathy or whatever, but like there's a certain extent, like these things that happen, like people just put so much of their energy towards something that ultimately has no benefit to them. And that's where, and then people like, that's where you just start getting unproductive people who are too invested into celebrities or entertainment, sports, whatever it may be. They just they lose themselves just because they focus so much on something else that really doesn't matter. And I think like that's the deeper component to like the one of the other elements of the whole energy harvesting thing.
And I think as well, like the other side of it, another thing that they do is sort of they put out these things and say like, stop you. Like you said, over in Canada, there's a big movement for this thing. And so they're saying to people, stop this from happening. At the same time, this is actually promoting this to happen, because it's planting the seed for a lot of these kids to think about, like, oh, maybe that's an option that I can,
Man,
we had it in schools. Go on, sorry.
So true. So no, I was just gonna say it's so true. Like it's so true. That's a great point. Like it shouldn't even be like in a resort or an option for people, but unfortunately, it's being like there's commercials. Like there was literally, that's what I posted on my Instagram. I posted one of their commercials, and I was just like, check this out. Like, and they're just like, nah, fuck that, and delete. But
wow.
It's like, man, that's crazy. Like they're making it seem so like blissful, I was like, man, this is weird. It almost seems like an ad for like I don't know, like a nice vacation at first. Like, but it's like a vacation you don't come back from.
It's like, if you think about like okay, so like war or fighting, people only want to fight when they're angry about something or whatever, and you could say like people are less angry about things than they are just kind of neutral or happy in a way. You know, you don't see a lot of fights going on because when they happen, you're like, yo, there's a fight over there. Look, everyone crowds around. If there were fights going on all the time, it would, you know, it would be crowded around everywhere we go. So you can say that doesn't happen a lot, but things do influence that. You know, so we understand that the majority of us don't really want to go to war. We don't want to fight. We don't want no
This is true.
trouble. We don't want anything. But for some reason, these things can happen, and they're usually of an influence, outside influence. It's not from within as such. And the same thing can happen when it comes to, you know, things like that, like the self-deletion, or when it comes to drugs, or, you know, like we can turn to the music side of things. There was a time when a lot of us didn't want to accept that music could influence people, to, you know, children to do things, or even adults or whatever.
Yep.
But now there's no denying it. Now we can see that furthermore, it's even being used by the industry to make things happen for them. Do you know what I mean? And you know, I think like we definitely got to look at that side of things in terms of turning people around, like making them realize like you are easily influenced, whether you like it or not, in some form of way.
100%.
You know,
I think people try to really play it off, but like it's like it doesn't matter if you try to play it off when confronted. Your actions show that you are influenced. You know, and it's very interesting to have to deal with that, because I think a lot of kids, you know, like eventually, not a lot of kids, but there's a group of kids who grow up, start becoming teenagers, and they start to realize like, yeah, this shit is kind of fucked up. Like, you know, they start seeing stuff online, but it's kind of hard to, you know, deal with at that time, because you're so like, you're young, you want to keep listening. It's what's popping right now. You're fucking with it, you know. I think that's like an interesting battle. And it's funny because I was just scrolling through like Instagram the other day, and I saw a post of the Weekend, and people were showing how at his concert, in the back on the screen, they would flash Satan on the screen, and everybody's like, oh my God, like that's fucked up, you know, like look what he's doing. And it got like a whole bunch of comments. It was like a pretty like popular post, I guess. And I was just like scrolling through, and I saw like a couple of like people just being like, man, I don't know who to listen to anymore. Like it seems like everybody's satanic and stuff like that. And I'm like, damn, I could tell this person's like just like realizing all this shit, like just seeing it. You know, and I'm like, damn, like I don't want to laugh at you, bro. But like it's and I sympathize with you, and I hope you know figure it out. But you know, it's like it's interesting, man. That's a tough one to deal with for some people.
Yeah, you gotta go through the motions, man. The reality of the world, boy, is like, oh my days, you what? But once you come out the other side, it's like an ablution. You know what I mean? You go through the sweats, the cold nights.
But you know what's crazy, dude, is like when someone says something like that to like a person who isn't tapped into the whole conspiracy stuff, they'll like quick to be like, so you're saying everything's evil? Like music's fully evil? Like they always go to one extreme or the other. You ever notice that when you like talk to certain people and you bring up something, and it's just like they always go from one extreme to the other? It's like, no, like music itself isn't like evil. Like it's like, but look at the way it could be used to portray a certain type of image and use sounds and frequencies in a way that will keep you more in tuned or more locked in or whatever it may be. It's just like, but people can't seem to like differentiate between like that statement of like, you know, music is kind of evil, but you know, they just assume to like think your point is that it's all evil.
Yeah, they just want to shift it all into one pot, like side of the pot, and go like that's what it is. Do you know what I mean? But,
that's what you think. Okay, like that's fucked up. No way, it can't be. And it's just like, all right, whatever, dude. Like, you're no point of dealing with this.
It's the best way to try and make you sound stupid, isn't it? When you what? So
Big
you
facts.
think that? Oh, what? So you think that? Like, okay. Oh, you're
They
one of
always
them.
got to do that voice too.
Yeah. They always, yeah, okay.
So you think it's this?
Yeah. Oi, come over, come, listen to this, you know, like really try and put you on the spot. But and that just shows how much of a harsh reality it is to face, you know what I mean? And I don't blame people at all, really, because, it's kind of like waking up out of this trance that you've been in for your whole life. Do you know what I mean?
It's like it could shatter someone's reality realistically. The more they dive into it, I honestly feel like people who really like start to see this stuff and then they start to actually take their own time to like look into it and do their own thing with it and start to really tap in, they really, for a minute, like you'll kind of feel like, damn, like what the fuck is real? Like what's normal? What's not? Like, is this good? Is that bad? Has that always been like this? How did I not notice this? And so it could really throw some people off. But yeah, I think everybody like anything in this world, I guess, is like you got to have balance with how you approach anything you do and anything you like look into. You know, it's like even like reading like a book. A lot of the times, like avid book readers who read like fiction books, they'll find themselves getting like really lost into the narrative, you know. And it could kind of like overcome their personal life in a weird way. They're so influenced from reading this book that they almost like feel like they're a main character from the novel they're reading. So like anything that you like really tap into a lot could, you know, sway you up a little bit. But this type of stuff in particular will definitely like have you questioning a lot more than you ever did, you know?
Have you ever binge watched like a TV series that's like 24 episodes and 5 series and you've watched it all over like 3 weeks or something? And you get to the end and then you're just like, what am I going to do without all these people in my life? Because you've just watched like these people live. Do you know what I mean? When you're watching it once a week, you don't get that same sort of feeling. But when you binge watch something, you do get that feeling that you've been in that world, that you've become immersed in it, and you have like a sort of withdrawal symptoms and a sort of separation anxiety of what you're going to do without that thing there. So
that's
I think
a fact.
Influencers and all that can start making people a bit like that as well. They start basically living with these people in a way.
It's so true, man. Like it's exactly. I totally agree. Like if you look at now, like, excuse me, but one of the big things that's happening is like the streaming era right now, where everybody's streaming, and you have streamers going on for like 8-9 hours, even 12-hour days just streaming, like just going crazy. And right now you have a lot of people who are just sitting there staring at someone else through a screen like the whole time, like and like it's just like we're heading in a weird direction right now where like influence is getting even more direct. First is influence from like a song, then it's influence from a movie, then it's influence from Instagram pages, but now it's influence from live actions of a person on camera you're staring at for 12 hours, 8 hours plus. It's like, man, it's gonna be interesting to see how things pan out in the future.
Yeah, because
we have an interesting world ahead of us.
It's like you're saying, the culture's changing. Like the culture of the world is changing with with technology. It's like everything is sort of like you can just sit down and get everything done through the screen, as opposed to having to go out there and do this, that, and the third. You just go down, sit with your coffee.
Well, you know what I was thinking about a little while ago, honestly, was like when they like in like Toronto and I'm sure the UK and all these places, they'll build in these popular big cities these high-rise condos with pretty much everything you need in it for the most part, like from amenities, from like the gym, pool, like all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And people are getting very accustomed to that lifestyle. So when you guys were talking about the 15-minute city and the smart city, people have already been like kind of getting a glimpse. It's like a free trial of what could come. You know what I mean? And it's like, you like this convenience? It's like, yes, I love it. Like, it's great. Grocery stores downstairs, gym's another floor down. Like, that's all I need. Like, So they always like precondition us in strange ways for whatever direction that they want it to head in. They'll give it to us in, bits and
Wow.
pieces.
You know what? That's like it's like blocks of flats. You know, like we call them council estates. I'm not sure if you call, what do you call your projects in Canada? Like
Oh
the
man,
public
just
housing type.
co-ops, project buildings, like
Yeah.
same thing. Yeah,
And so
apartments, same shit.
they'll always have like the laundrette. They'll have like a little, shop there. They'll have a pub there. There'll
Yeah,
be bits and bobs there where basically the whole community can just stay there. And I guess that's what
exactly.
you're saying, like the smart cities, they're kind of prepping for something like that, but for people that might be a bit more affluent and feel like,
Yeah,
oh,
because
no,
they started doing them with like Whole Foods and Waitrose in the bottom of them, and if you go to like Nine Elms and
yeah.
Battersea and places like that by the
Yeah.
Thames, they've got like a mini Waitrose there or something.
Wow,
and,
so ready.
and some of them have got things like a cinema room in higher
Yeah.
up in the flat.
Serious?
Yeah, that you can like say 12 of you can go and rent a little cinema room, and it's got a big screen in there, and you can so you ain't even got to leave.
That's kind of lit. No, I'm just
That's
kidding.
already it, boy.
Looking out over the Thames, 18 stories up.
Blazed, boy.
Yeah.
Just bare different strains up there, boy. Wow, that's deep, man. So, I see it there. So they're already prepping people. That's it.
Yeah.
Big time, man. Like
Wow.
it's very much interesting how like I said, it's like a free trial. But if you look at like Saudi Arabia, someone said it in the comments earlier too, but they were talking about the Saudi Arabia like smart cities. Have you guys seen what they've been talking about with those lately?
No.
The smart cities. It's going to be the first one, right?
Well,
in the world or something like that.
I guess like if they achieve it in this way, so they got two things going on. They got one where it's like I don't know, like 34 square or kilometers square. I don't know how fucking big it is. It's very fucking large, long line, and basically you're in this like glass city, and it's like a city in a line, and there's no driving. It's basically just like everything's in your distance. Everything you could possibly need is in there. Essentially, you have like a fake artificial outdoor, like outdoors area. You got your mini park. There's cameras everywhere. Obviously, everything's biometric, digital. This facial recognition. That and they're working on that. I forget what it's called. If you type in like Saudi Arabia Line City or something, but they also are working on another one, and that one's like just a massive cube that could fit apparently 20 Empire State Buildings inside of it. So it's that big. Yeah, and that's just straight like symbolism there as well. For those tapped into the whole Saturn cube matrix. But yeah, it's just like it's like it's supposed to have everything you need, and there's digital holograms all around the city. So it's just like interesting how they're gonna get people into these things and make it happen. I think the best way to do these things is always, again, like how they've always done it for us, is trick us and say it's convenient,
saying that
like for our cell phones, it's convenient. For getting the jab at one point, it was pretty much for convenience to be able to do things other people couldn't do.
Non-stick pans are convenient. Think about that.
Yeah.
Non-stick pan, and then now we find out that it's toxic, whatever they're using to make it non-stick. What the hell's going on here? Do you know what I mean? Little things like that.
Big time, man.
Remote control. Bruv, now you don't get up to go and switch the telly over.
Bluetooth,
what happens.
Wi-Fi,
Bluetooth.
all these things.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of different things like that.
It's just, it seems like the more you start to look into it, it seems like everything that we're sold to us that should have some benefit to us, and I'm not saying everything, but a lot of things that are common daily things in our lives seem to be the opposite of what they marketed to us as. You know what I mean? Like, even if you look at like shoes, shoes are really crazy,
That's exactly what I was about to say, is shoes. I could not believe it. Like shoes, bruv, of all things. Yeah, please do. Go in.
Well, I was just going to say real quick, like, and then I'll let you carry on. Like, it was, it's like they'll sell it to you as like, these are ergonomically correct for your feet, and these are supposed to help you out in with your running and training or whatever. But realistically, over time, by wearing these shoes from the way it's shaped, it starts to play with our toe bone structure and curves them inwards when they should be out more outwards. Ultimately, I'm not trying to sound like a hippie or something, but like, yeah. And I got to practice more of what I preach in this sense. But you know, walking on barefoot on ground like is actually good for your feet. You know, the shoes that we've been offered and all these extra cushions are actually just hurting us over time. You know, and they're not actually for our benefit, despite how we're told they're more ergonomically correct for us.
Preach, brother, preach, man. Nah, man, you're not lying. That's exactly what it is. It's like you realize, like, all of these trainers, like, this whole, for years. I remember, bruv, what was his name? I won't put his name out there, but Ryan, just say Ryan, man, from school. You know what I mean? When we were about like 7, 8. He was the kid in school. He had the brand new Jordans. You know what I mean? Everyone just crowding around. Oh! And you're like, oh, man, I wish I could have them Jordans. You know, and then for years beyond that, Jordan 3s, 4s, 7s, you know what I mean, carries it on and on and on. Like people going crazy. You realize, like, right, these shoes ain't even good for your feet, bruv. After all that, let alone Air Force Ones, you know, you can realize all these different trainers that people go crazy for. Queue up in the morning from like 2 in the morning to go and get these and fuck up your feet. It's crazy.
It's facts, man. That's a great point, actually. Yeah, the amount of like, you know, the shoe fanatics out there, like, no hate, but like, it's crazy. I understand some dudes are making money, they're selling, you know, smart on you, I guess. Get your money, but yeah, it's like, man, really, like, we're waiting outside this long. You know, you're spending like hours and hours overnight in the cold to get a pair of shoes that, you know. For what? Like, you know, I don't know, man. Like, it's what people find as valuable is very interesting. I don't know about you guys. I'm not much of a shoe guy myself. I'm the type of dude to like buy a pair of shoes, rock it out until they're down bad. And then it's like, all right, I gotta get new shoes.
You know? I'm not crazy about, you know, I like put it this way, I definitely like to have a nice pair of shoes, like nice pair of trainers, but I never go crazy like, yeah, I'm going to get these and then, yeah, look, I've got these on now, I've got these on now. It's like, whatever, man. And then now, since I've learned about what it means to wear these types of shoes and how it affects your feet and how it's better for you to wear like a minimal type of shoe as opposed to, you know, or like you said, go barefoot when you can. Man, you realize, like, because it affects the rest of your body. You know, like from your feet, it goes to your ankles, to your knees, to your hips, to your lower back. Like so many people have lower back problems, not realizing that it's probably the type of shoe wear that they're putting on their feet. You know, you're not really walking the way you're supposed to walk, and so that's messing with your joints and
and then you start to think about the overall lifestyle that they put us through. For a lot of people is, you know, you get a sitting desk job and you end up sitting a lot of your day. You're driving in your car to commute to work, sitting. You're walking in these shoes, or for women, they might be walking in these heels and this and that. And over time, it's just like this whole lifestyle we're sort of mixed into is just truly filled with so many things that end up doing the worst to us in the long run. And a lot of people were just still stuck in that, like, but that's what you got to do. Like, that's the life you got to live. Like, you know, it's like, that's just the way it is. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I think you're limiting yourself and you're, you know, the way you see the world. But again, to each his own.
Of course, man. I think that's the important thing is, like, we just got to allow those who want to carry on the same way to do that and hope that they can wake up, man. I don't think you can force anyone to do anything at all. Big up to Jaeger in the building. Big up Oshi. Right, we got some crew in the house, man. Yeah, man. Loving the chat. The Uncommon Senses in the building, as always. Big up King Chico, Yamor, Liz Williams, Regantology, Latral. We got SeeThruTheScript right here, man.
Yes.
Specialist.
What's up, everybody?
At this numerology, breaking down what goes on in the world.
I feel bad. I haven't showed much
Reality.
numerology, man.
Yeah. Do you wanna go through some stuff just so people?
Is there anything in particular that you wanted to see? You thought was interesting?
Let's go back a bit. Yeah, I think it will be quite important for us.
I can even
to
let
do
you
this.
just pull it up.
Let's go back. Yeah, should I pull it up and then you just go through? So I think we'll go back to, a time where a lot of people were weeping, were crying, especially out here.
Yeah, man. There's always certain things that hit people different ways.
Yeah,
What I
man.
find interesting is that, sometimes like people will rock with you all the way up until you say one thing, and then that's that
So
one
true.
thing that bothers them, and they're just like, oh no, I can't fuck with you anymore, because you said this one thing. I agree with like 90% of what you're saying,
Yeah.
but these other 10%, I for that reason I can't fuck with you. So I find it interesting. It's always good to like kind of provoke thought and go at things that people kind of keep close to heart in a way, because it gets people thinking.
Well, I think like one of the things that you need to wake up to, or most people do anyway, is you realize you can't take anything to heart, and that even if you say like I follow you because you say a certain thing that I agree with, then just because you say something else that I don't agree with, that doesn't mean that I shouldn't still listen to the parts that make sense to me from the stuff I do. I
totally
in
agree
tune
with you
with.
there.
Do you know what I mean? You realize
Yeah.
like, right, nobody really is going to be your idea of perfect, because your idea of perfect comes from you, your sense of the world,
Exactly.
sense of being. So it's never going to be like that, but there are going to be things that you might say that are like, I can respect that. No matter what age, whether you're older, younger than me, I don't really care, because I think it's more about the information. That's the important side of it. But yeah,
I agree too. Yeah, man. People let age get into the way of what they're willing to listen to. It's like, that person, what do they know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, man. That's the worst way to think. You got to be open to hearing it from anybody. Everybody has a different perspective that's interesting, and they put you on to something that you didn't think of in the first place.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Let's pull it.
Oh
Before
man,
we
that's the
take it
big
back.
one, man. That's the big one.
Of course, man.
Clean.
We're in the UK. This might upset a few of the listeners, the followers, but
Again, I never intend to offend. I always just say, man, I just lay it out what I see on a numerical scale. So this one was interesting, man. She died on the 8th of September. This one just was riddled through, a lot of numerical coincidences throughout it. As you could see, dead 140 days from her 96th birthday. Queen of England, 140 in the English ordinal cipher. So for those who don't know, that is the most basic cipher. You take the 26 letter alphabet. A is connected to the number 1, B is 2, C is 3, all the way to Z or Z, being the 26th letter. And as you can see, dead in the English ordinal is 14. With the rules of numerology, you drop that 0 and you're left with 14. So very interesting right there, that I thought try to, show something quick and easy on the eye. This is where it gets a little more fascinating, because a lot of when it comes to who's behind this and who does what, realistically, the main culprit that seems to be having the most swing and pull in this world through all other, big entities and monarchs and whatnot, is the Catholic Church. And currently right now, the Vatican is run by the Pope Francis, and he is the first Pope from the Jesuit order. And she died a span of that same date span, but in weeks and days, 20 weeks in one day. I just, again, it's like they leave their fingerprints, is what we like to say in the community. Even the article, oddly enough, was updated at 2:01 when they released more information.
Jeez,
This is off CNN too.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think it says it on there actually. Yeah.
Wow, man. Yeah, this is where it gets deep.
And this one's really interesting. This 99 thing, and it makes more sense too as I go on the second page. But obviously her full name in the full reduction cipher, that equals 99, and the queen died on Thursday, which is named after Jupiter, according to the Roman calendar system and how they've organized things. Jupiter equals 99 in the English ordinal cipher. And as I say in that post, worth mentioning, her husband, Prince Philip, died at the age of 99 on the 99th day of the year. So it's like they seem to have this pattern going on. Yeah. So, from the Queen's death to Prince Charles' upcoming 74th, span of 67 days, and that is often associated with the blood sacrifice, human sacrifice code. And ultimately, in these type of like monarch families, and the way they look at things is very different than the way we look. Like, I guess, if you just want to put a term on it for now, a blanket term, average citizen and average folk, like we don't live the same lifestyle as these people. These people believe in a different sort of mindset of way of living, from sacrifice to ritual to keeping things in the family through the way they, have relationships, and sacrifice is definitely a part of what these people do. And I know a lot of people have that, talk about the Queen was, also involved in some sacrifice stuff. That's the most I'll say, I guess. But children, sacrifice, you piece it all together. But yeah, that I thought was interesting and worth sharing too.
Yeah, and also, like, can you point out that there's a sort of a significance to like the whole thing about upcoming birthdays or things happening since the birthday as well, as opposed to on the date?
Definitely. So when it comes to the sort of timing and where it's connected, you'll find that it really could vary at points. If you look at the narrative in this case, like, he was set to become king, and ultimately his coronation would have happened by the time he was about to turn 74. And essentially the way they're sort of tying it together is like this pivotal moment to require and to achieve such sacrifice is needed, as this is a huge change in the structure for the country, in terms of the monarch system, right? So, and the royal family rather. So, you'll find that it can either be connected to their previous birthday, their upcoming birthday, or you'll find that there's a numerical match within both.
Interesting, man.
And speaking of the number 67, the word king is 67 in the reverse ordinal. So that's just like the English ordinal. And again, that's just basically flipped backwards. So Z holds the value of 1, Y 2, etc. A is 26. And again, that 67 connection from her death to his upcoming 74th, again, he's becoming king. So it's just very fascinating how it's like, well, I mean, that seems kind of self-explanatory once you look at it in a way and you sort of see how they piece it together.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
It's weird, man. I still find it really strange, man. I still find it really strange and fascinating how it all pans out.
Yeah.
Ritual sacrifice, the day she died, 251st day of the year. The phrase ritual sacrifice equals 251. I mean, again, this is a big moment. Obviously, you guys saw the amount of energy at Harvest, especially granted where you guys are from. So,
yeah, all our parents, boy.
Yeah. Hey, man, I'm in Canada, Commonwealth country, so it's people definitely were tapped in about it. You'd have some of the parents like, oh my God, like it's crazy because obviously for them, growing up and she was younger, they've seen her kind of do her thing.
You're just in the background drinking, like mumbling, like fuck, That's it. All the tapped in crew are just like,
and just no, and sorry, no, I just wanted to say too, just for the post's sake, while it's there, again, Prince Charles currently 73 years old. So at the time of this happening. He's 73 years old. Ritual sacrifice, sacrifice equals 73. Again, for this big moment upcoming in his life, they're knowing that there's going to be this transition of power. You know, the numbers match the narrative in that sense.
Deep, boy.
Yeah, so this one was interesting. Her name is Elizabeth Alexandra Mary, and she died on the birthday of Virgin Mary. It's like one of the biggest Marys, in our modern time is this woman, and it's the significance of her death. And again, it's just this Jesuit Roman Catholic sort of hierarchy reigns deep within these royal families. And I think they're deep. They're really intricate with the way these sort of events happen. And just for that to so happen to align, that one of the biggest Marys of the time dies on one of the most sacred Marys' birthdays. Or the most sacred, I guess you could say.
Elizabeth was also there's been two other Elizabeths in the royal line. So there's Elizabeth I, who was the Virgin Queen, and then Princess Elizabeth, who was she was King James's daughter, I think, and she moved to Germany, but she was also the what do they call it when they have the alchemical wedding between Britain and Germany? So she was the English side of that alchemical wedding between the French. It's basically like a Rosicrucian wedding between the German Palatine Germanic family and then the English families. So she was also basically a Virgin Elizabeth as well. So there's only 3 Elizabeths that I know of in royalty.
Very interesting.
And they're all sort of, like you've just made the connection with this recent one with the Virgin Mary as well. So that is
and that's why I'm always open to hearing more and learning more, because for one, I didn't know that what you just mentioned, but I just found it very interesting how that panned out, and it's just you start to see that it really goes deeper than what one could even show you. One has to be willing to tap into some level of it. Once they see something, you can start to learn more. You can start to dive in deeper and find how it's there's much more to it. But this is interesting to say the least. The Virgin Mary is very much obviously in high regards in the Catholic Church, to say the least.
It's really tricky to understand to what extent. And is it inverted in any way? Like people say the cross is inverted for them. Like it's sort of worshipping that someone's dying.
People say that. They say, the cross is really the cube, just unfolded essentially. And the cube goes back to the Saturn rituals. So it's or the Saturn worship. But back to this. You got the Pope Francis, the Jesuit Pope, and Queen Elizabeth II mingling together. You'll find that again, like this religious order, the Vatican, really has their hands in everything, and they've had it from time. And they've either had to work really hard in some countries to keep it. Some countries have been a lot easier. They've had their turbulence, but regardless, they always have their influence in pretty much any country at this point. And you'll see that, I just found this interesting that the Royal Family Society of Jesus, you have that full reduction connection of 56, a big number that was especially a theme essentially used in a thematic way throughout the pandemic itself. But again, this just goes back to their influence that this order has, that this religious order that supposedly serves the Pope, but now is the Pope, started out as just serving them to rule them, essentially,
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's very crazy, man. But people, make sure you do follow, by the way, See Through the Script on Instagram, man. He's got regular posts, letting people see through it all, look behind the curtain. You know what I mean? There's a lot of
So many.
I know, and you went in as well. And this 42 and 59 video, definitely look out for the YouTube videos. I posted them anyway in the.
I appreciate that.
In the what do you call it, Telegram. And
man, that's love, man. I appreciate that for real. I you know, like you said, you can't force people into anything. You know, I try to make it as palatable as I can, as easy on the eyes, quick to kind of catch on to an extent. But yeah, man, if you're really interested, for those in the you know, in the comments and tuning in, pull up, man. Pull up, check out some videos, check the comments. People ask questions, people give answers to them. You know, if you really want to learn something, like, or figure something out, people will. You know, if they want to figure it out, they will.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, man. I mean, I like, it definitely takes some time for you to kind of get your head around like how it makes sense, even let alone how it works. But once you start seeing those patterns, it's like, oh, right, yeah, this can't be a coincidence. But at the same time, like, how the hell are they working it? How are they working that out? How are they managing to time all of this shit?
How big is that warehouse where they're all based?
I know. Well, I definitely think that there is an element of technology that's really allowing this to happen. And it's using some sort of, like, the best way I can put it, because again, I wish I could say I had all the answers, you know, is like some Kabbalistic algorithm that is like using that sort of information, this esoteric information in a computer-minded sense, which is like having these things. You know, I'm not saying it's for like a computer is forcing someone to be somewhere at some time. That takes human coordination. But in terms of the numerical side of how things pan out and how we see it on the headlines. And another thing, too, to always think about is, like, if they'll say, like, in the headlines, like, someone died at 3:30, did they really die at exactly 3:30? Did they probably died at 2:15? But, like,
they don't.
The headlines might get played with.
Yeah.
You know? So that's what another thing, like, a lot of things we see are not exactly what they are, you know?
They're just what they give us. They, like you said, like, how are they going to, if this, say, like a motorbike crashed somewhere, so that's someone on their own crashed. Who's going to know exactly what time they crashed and died? No one was there. So
like there could be some logical ways, like they have a camera, but other than that, if there is, like, if it's in like an alley and someone, like, they die and the news reports like it was at, you know, 2:01 in the morning, you know, and then you'll be like, huh, interesting, and then you'll type in the person's full name and it's like, oh, their full name equals 2:01, like, interesting. Oh, they died 201 days from their birthday, like, oh, interesting. You know what I mean? Like, you start to see that it's like, is that story even really how it actually happened?
Yeah, that's how
probably not. But or not necessarily, but is the story coded in some way? Most definitely. This one that you have up right now, again, I've just found it interesting based off what happened. You have the story of him having his coronation set for May 6th at Westminster Abbey, and you can just see that the connection between that date being written as 5/6 on my side of the world, and your guys' side of the world, they would write it as 6/5. But yeah, coronation, royal family, Westminster Abbey, all 56, 65 reflections of each other. Again, it's like, for these big events, they definitely plot it out this way. This was interesting too, because for those that don't know, or like new to this practice of Gematria and numbers, the relationship between prime numbers, triangular, Fibonacci, it all plays into a factor. And you can see that date that they have set leaves 239 days in the year, and 239, as you can see, is the 52nd prime number. And again, we're talking about his coronation. So it's like that day and that word and that moment all seemed to be paired perfectly.
Synced up.
Synced up. People don't like that one, man. Like, no, that's a part of my life. It's like, is it part of your life? Is it really benefiting you?
Yeah, people get angry about
or
that.
do you just are you just in it? And man, I want to show you guys one story that I posted on it, but I wouldn't try to make you find it. So give me a second. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah. I'll stop sharing.
There was a headline about an old dude, not even a famous person, an old dude named Saturnino.
What?
And
Saturnino.
Saturnino. I'm gonna find it.
Wow,
Fuck. And he died at the age of 112. And the whole thing is just some strange. Fuck, I can't find it. It's just like some strange, perfect numerical pattern with basically the same number over and over again throughout his story, from the day he died to his age to his name, etc., etc. And again, it's like he's not even a famous person. It's just like he was just a really old dude. And I saw that story and I was like, like interesting. And when I looked into it and saw how much it just sort of panned out on the numerical side of things, I was like, I don't know. Is this even like real? Like,
yeah.
is it like, did he actually die at the age he did? Or is this just some like weird news story to put out for whatever reason? I wish I could say what for exactly, but I'm trying to find it here.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
I feel like a lot of stuff is like the more like I see, different things that are being posted and whatnot, and all the different stories, I feel like, a lot of it is kind of just made up to sync, just in order to make the ritual, seem real for whoever needs it to be real. Do you know what I mean? Because there's way too many things that go on, I think, for them to be able to be on point as much as they are, and then let alone the fact that they even make it so the time that they post the story will have some connection or something. Will be like, oh, come on, man. Okay, so you kind of want this to be read in a certain way, whether it is that way or not, we don't know. But because of that, I don't think it is. I don't think it is all played out the way that it's.
Yeah, it's like, do they really get it perfect every time? I wouldn't say they do. I think they could make it seem like they do through these numbers, and through the way they report on it, which will trip people out. And that's where I kind of come in to, just showcase to people, like, look at how strange this is. I did find the story. But yeah, man, I don't know if I can like share my screen.
You should be able to.
I should be able to, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Yes, man. Big up BLA in the house. We got SeeThruTheScript, man, right here. Shit you might not never know nothing about. Getting into that.
All right, so check this out.
All right.
This is for just like what you just said, shit that you might not never know nothing about.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't have expected this type of stuff either, but this is the story. So again, I'm just chilling. Like, I just see this story and I'm like, world's oldest man dies at the age of 112. And I was like, interesting. So, I looked into it real quick and I just took down some essential details. So I'm like, all right, interesting name. That's what pulled me in, the age and the name, Saturnino. World's oldest man, that phrase, world oldest man, 211, 211, the reflection of his age. Wow. And then his name itself, Saturnino, his first name is 112. I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then in terms of this here, Catholicism, 112. The word mathematics equals 112. This is alphanumeric, essentially mathematics in a sense. You're adding up numbers. The Jesuits actually operate in 112 nations, which I thought was just interesting to add, as all of this sort of ties back to them in a sense. But also, if you look at it, on the day leaving 112 days in the year, Saturnino, age 112, died. And again, it's like, what are the odds? Like, he's dead on the day leaving 112 days in the year, and his name Saturnino, 112, and he's dead at the age 112. It's like, what? Like, what? Like, what are the odds of all this stuff? It's just weird. But also, if you look at his birthday,
Right.
it's
What?
February 11th,
Jeez.
a date that's written 11/2 or 2/11. And it's like, oh shit, well that's crazy. So Mr. Saturnino,
That's
R.I.P., dead at 112.
That is crazy.
And then this just kind of goes into his name, more on the esoteric side of okay, so just to explain this, Saturn is the keeper of time. And if you really think about it, it's like, what are the odds? You got this, because Saturn is always depicted as like an old guy with a beard,
Old Father
in
Time.
mythology, old folk. Yeah, exactly. So
Kronos.
you just see this old guy named Saturnino, world's oldest man.
Wow.
He's stretched out this much time in his life.
Jeez.
It's like, I don't know.
That's
Some say
deep.
like you're looking too deep, you're reaching. At this point, I don't even care what people could say. I just think it's an interesting way to look at it, and I think it's fascinating.
That is crazy, man. Saturnino, for real.
Yeah, man. It's like Saturnino, the keeper of time, oldest man, lived for all this time.
Yeah.
And the fact that his birthday is on a date like 112, 211.
Yeah, and it syncs with his name. Oh man, that is.
And
crazy.
he ultimately died on the 18th of January, a date written 1/18. And the word death in the Latin Jewish cipher. Oh, and also interesting too, I forgot this was even here. I haven't looked at this so long. His birthday, February 11th, is the 42nd day of the year. Again, his name is Saturnino. Saturn equals 42 in the reverse full reduction cipher. So it's like, man, it's just weird. It's just super strange. It's like you have all this Saturn connection, this 112 sort of sequence going on. And again, it's like this person isn't famous from my understanding, other than like his Guinness Book of World Records sort of situation. But
that's crazy.
Is the story exactly how it panned out? Is that his actual birthday? Are we really being told the truth?
Yeah.
Does it really matter to an extent to know? Yes and no, because at one sense it's like you do want to know how much we're being lied to from little things, because they're probably lying on bigger things. But at the same time, it's just like, yeah, it's very strange when you look at the numbers.
Yeah, and also like I noticed that it seems to be. Would you say that it seems to be just certain outlets that kind of put out this information as well, that put out all these different bits of news and whatnot that we get, that is like, oh, it's sensational. Yeah,
No, I know exactly what you're saying. I definitely think so. I think like what's it called? TMZ is like just such a like they're always the first to have the scoop on like a rapper death. And what's interesting is they were founded in California on November 8th, and that's a date written 118, and they're always the one to get the scoop on the deaths and the homicides. And it's just interesting because in Gematria, the word death and homicide equal 118, and TMZ is like always like first to get the scoop, like Pop Smoke dead, like TMZ's got the inside scoop and footage of this. It's like, all right, man, like I don't know. I think the way these, there's a lot of news outlets out there that really play with things even more than others. I think, I think like Daily Mail UK or something. That's an interesting one. Like they always have like really weird, jumbled headlines and just a lot of strange details in them. And again, are they really telling us the truth in a lot of these things? Are they just? Is there a computer writing these things out? I don't know if you guys ever seen, but there's a movie or a TV show called, or no, was it a movie or TV show? I'm going to say it's a movie actually from 1968 called Newsbenders. Let me search it up. It was on like BBC. Dog. It was it was called Newsbenders.
Is it?
And that show essentially is about how they fake the news and do things in advance, and they have the help of like a computer that really allows them to do these things. And then he walks this guy into a room, and he's like in a big corporate office, and he's like, we want you to work for the news and yada yada, and he's trying to convince him to do it. And the guy's like, okay, but like what am I getting into type thing. And he's like, well, let me show you. And he brings him into a room and he plays him like an audio clip of a news broadcast.
Yeah.
And they're in the year like for the movie, they're in the year like 1970, but the audio clip is talking about the year 1975 and what's going to happen. It's like on this day, on May 6th in 1975, this happened. And then the guy's like, wait a second, like, is that the news? Like that news is from the future. You guys are like writing what's going to happen. Like, you know, and he's like, see, you're getting onto it. And it's fucked, man. It's like,
Wow.
I feel like they really try to tell you something through film,
Yeah.
because it's like most people will brush it off.
Yeah, and is that that whole thing about the karma? What was it? You said it was like,
karmic retribution.
Yeah, karmic retribution. That's it.
Yeah,
So
man, that's a big factor to what they do. For those that aren't entirely hip to that, essentially, it's the idea, Buddhist, Hindu, you know, beliefs and practices of just the idea of like forecasting something and showing it to us. So, for example, the Ohio train scenario, prior to it actually happening, you have a film that basically forecasts and foreshadows exactly what did happen. You have the film like Utopia, where it's all about the, you know, people getting a poke and, you know, begging for a cure to this virus, and, you know, just that comes out during the height of the pandemic, but obviously it's filmed beforehand. All of this I'm saying is because they show it to us and we consume it, this content, and it's kind of like we're already getting to experience it or live it. Like Dan, like you were saying, like, you know, when you're really locked in, you binge a show or something, you kind of like leave the show and you're just like, damn, like, you know, like, what do I do? Like, you know, I was really locked into this world.
Yeah.
So yeah, karmic retribution. They relieve themselves of their bad deeds by showing us what they plan to do to us, getting us to consume it, and then essentially when it does happen, it's like, hey, we warned you. It was there.
Yeah,
it was in your face.
What do you mean you didn't understand? It was in there. Pirates of the Caribbean. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? There's so many. You know? Yeah, there's so many ways they can do that as well when you think about it.
We was also talking about the film The Adjustment Bureau, which I actually watched. Have you watched it?
Nah,
I watched it at the weekend. Yeah, I watched it at the weekend. Yeah, it's good. It's very there's a lot of little bits of sort of I suppose people would say pre-programming and things like that. I mean,
predictive programming.
Yeah, it is a good film. And if you're into like another film that was similar to this was what's that one called? Huckabees or something? Something about it's like a sort of comedy, quirky sort of 2000s film. Dustin Hoffman's in it, and then another film is, what's the other one that's similar to Adjustment Bureau? The Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Sky.
Die Another
Minority
Day.
Report?
No.
Minority Report.
No, Die Another Day. That's what it was called after it came out. I don't know what it was called when it first was made. I think it was called Live, Die, Live.
Oh, you're
Die,
on about
Repeat or something. Live.
Yeah, you're on about what's the film called? I know which one you're on about, man. The one where he's a computer game, isn't it? No spoilers.
No. It's the one where he keeps dying.
Yeah.
And he keeps coming back in the same, exactly the same. Actually, I think there's somebody who looks like you in one of the shots.
Yeah.
There we go. In the exercise.
Yeah, I can't believe.
It's like I thought you would have saw it.
I can't believe I can't remember the damn name, man.
It's called Die Another Day, I think, or something.
Yeah, but they renamed it.
They did rename it. Yeah.
Die Another Day.
Yeah, and it was Emily Blunt and Tom Cruise, and he sort of has to keep coming back to life. Every time he dies, he comes back to exactly the same place he was in the morning, and he has to try and get his day right in order to get to the end of his day, sort of thing. And there's
man, yeah, I feel that plot sounds very familiar.
Yeah, but the Adjustment Bureau is like a big warehouse full of people that are sort of they've got these maps and they're like adjusting people's lives to sort of suit a bigger plan. So there's like a big they call it the chairman, but it's obviously meant to be God. It's a Philip K. Dick story, and And so they've got these books and they're adjusted Matt Damon's life to try and just sort of fit him in with the plan. He's gone off the plans. We have to bring him back into. They have to make him spill his cup of coffee, and you know, then he misses the bus and all that. And it just reminded me of that sort of this, you know, where we're laughing now about where's this big warehouse with all these people doing this gematria and working out events and all this sort of stuff. And it's, you know, something in me, I'm still not sure whether there's like some sort of divine element to it. Or, you know, like whether it is people planning it or whether these things, once you start looking into all these events, you start noticing these sort of patterns underneath it all.
A natural,
They call
it?
So,
The natural
I don't know,
matrix,
what do you think of that? Have you sort of contemplated that as well?
Yeah, man, I have. And at a certain point, I realized how much of like a divisive thought it could be, or like how much it could like really take too much control over your mindset, because at the end of the day, like we can only see so much from what we have out there and the information we can consume and whatnot. So yeah, I've definitely still juggle with like, how exactly is this pan out? Like I really wish, because people will ask all the time. And I'm always telling people, I'm like, I'm not some numerical guru that knows everything. You know, I'm just someone who's been looking into it for a little while and always been curious. But I wish I could say, like, they're in this room doing this, and this is how it gets down, and this is how they organize it. They use this system exactly to code it out on the computer and the headlines. But one thing I will say is, going back to like the film, is a lot of the films, and even if they're, you know, crazy fiction type films, sci-fi, whatever, there is some true element to what they're creating and writing. Like the influence they're getting is from something, you know?
Yeah.
Something a lot deeper that maybe just we're not tapped into as the viewers. So we can't connect symbolically what they're trying to say or what they're trying to portray. But yeah, man, I know I kind of dancing in circles, but I wish I had an answer. I think it is a battle though between, I think I kind of mentioned earlier, like there's some spiritual element, like there is a little element that is beyond human, that is helping or aiding these people, or these people are trying to please those entities to thus be able to move forward and advance and achieve certain things. Or at least their mindset is that if I work with these entities, I will achieve said things. Like you look at occultists and the things that they would do, like Aleister Crowley would do very interesting sex magic rituals, where it would be like him and another man. They would be like in another room, in a dark room, like in a circle, like within a circle, reading like religious scriptures while doing it. Like, who thinks of this shit? But like somehow they thought this is what they need to do to like tap into another side of this world, this metaphysical world, to then gain benefit from it in some way, you know? So that's why I think, like, you know, I just think people are so quick to rule out that there's some spiritual element, but I think everything they're doing is spiritual. It's all religious, it's all spiritual. And yeah, you just got to be open-minded but not get too strung along on that, and think too deep into it. I think it's you can only just keep learning. Me personally, I just don't trust people who have a big you know, profile and like have a big following, and they're too quick to say like, this is what it is. Like this is fake for sure. This is not real. I know. I'm like, how do you know, dog? Like, how do you really know? Like, everything I'm putting out, I'm just saying, like, hey, yo, here's what things seem to link to. Here seems to be a pattern. And this is how it seems to happen time after time after time after time. And I'm going to put it out there for people to consume and look at. You can make your own conclusion. I can't dictate exactly. I don't want to be the person to dictate how you think and what you think, but I just want you to think. Rather. So yeah, it was a long-winded answer, my guy, but it's an element of spirituality, human influence and power and whatnot. Yeah, we lived it, and I think the people before us, well before our times, you know, you hear a lot of historians and theologians and whatnot talk about, you know, the type of stuff they were tapped into. I just think that there was much more of a spiritual and earthly connection to the people of the past compared to us now, which is why for us in this age, it's so hard for a lot of people to comprehend the whole spiritual aspect of it. Not because most of us don't live any sort of spiritual life. Some people could live a religious life, but not in exactly spiritual. They're not grounded to the earth. They don't connect to. Again, I'm not trying to sound like a fucking hippie or whatever, but like dead ass,
shoes.
like people don't like. We're all stuck in screens, in a system of books that are coming from a certain educational curricular system, having us molded us in certain ways that it's just like times were a little different back then. And you'll find that people back then, I don't know, man, they just had a different way of thinking and connecting to things and seeing things compared to they do now.
Yeah, they're probably a lot more connected. Like they say in the dark ages, I guess, where it weren't all about this information and trying to fill our heads up with, you know, all this gobbledygook. It was rather dealing with the earth, like getting your food from the right sources and whatnot.
Yeah, man. You know, they say you are what you eat, you know, and things like that are so true because what you consume is, you know, you consume too much junk food, you're going to have nothing but junk in your head, you know? You're going to be distracted. You're not going to be able to see things from a certain perspective just because your brain isn't there. It's not getting the right connection to the earth, the food, and whatnot to allow it to be to that point.
Yeah, for real. All right, so the film was Edge of Tomorrow. Shout out to the crew that,
Hey, someone found
Einstein.
Yeah,
that's what I saw when I searched it up. But that kept on popping up, and I was like, I don't know, you guys didn't say that.
Yeah, no, that's it.
They changed the name of it, didn't they, as well? Yeah.
I can't believe I couldn't remember the name of that. I feel like I watched it not too long ago as well, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty good film. And yeah, it's that thing
Look
of
out for the guy in
Edge of Tomorrow.
Look out for the guy it's when they're training.
Yeah, the training.
Yeah, look out, everyone.
Yeah, I got a little cameo in there. Training some of these soldiers. Well,
hey, let's go. That's always good to see.
It was fucking funny, man. I was taking the piss out of them as well. Like, come on, these motherfuckers. Do I look like I'm smiling? Come on, give me 500. 500 right now. You black motherfucker. I was like that. Stop it, man. You're making me laugh. 1, 2, 2.
Oh, you were the drill sergeant.
Yeah, I was the drill sergeant, man.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures now. I see what the movie kind of looking like.
It's funny, man.
It's the scene where he keeps coming back, ain't it? It's like
Edge
the
of
first
Tomorrow.
scene as he comes back.
Yeah. It's only a quick flash. It's nothing major, man.
Yo, you know what I wanted to say? It just, I don't know why, it just came to my head out of nowhere. But have you guys ever played the game? I don't know if you guys game or whatnot, but have you guys ever heard of the game Watch Dogs? Watch Dogs Legion, to be specific with you.
Yeah, I've heard of that, yeah.
So that's based in the UK. It's like the whole map is England. And it's very interesting, that game. That game is very interesting because it's literally all about a future dystopian world where this one sort of central government like takes over, and London's like super heavily surveillanced, and are, you know, a whole bunch of surveillance cameras and whatnot. And you're basically like a vigilante in the game, like trying to, you know, break down the system and beat the system essentially. And the game has a lot of interesting symbolism throughout it. They at one point, like, if you go up to, because it's like a GTA game, it's like a free roam game, so you can, like, you know, walk around and shit. So it's like very futuristic, the setting of the map, and you can go up to like a bus station. You'll see these like digital screens, and they'll have advertisements on it. And one day I just had like my controller just sitting there, and I was just like staring at that, and like these advertisements kept flashing, and one of them I saw was like CRISPR vaccine technology.
Wow.
And I was like, CRISPR. I was like, I feel like I've heard that in like real life. And then like I just quickly do like a Google search, and like CRISPR's like DNA altering technology and shit. And it's just like, man, it's just crazy how they merge things through games, movies, music. But I just want to bring that up because it's the game's based in the UK. So
yeah, that's
I thought
deep,
that was
man.
interesting.
That's exactly like that. Like they bring it into reality, you know, plant it into the mind, and then that becomes a reality, regardless of whether it truly is or not. It's that simple,
Yeah.
you know.
Exactly. Like, and again, yeah, you're consuming it, you know, by playing it. And if you decide to purchase the game and play into the game and really immerse yourself in it, you're immersing yourself in a reality that they hope to achieve at some point, basically. And you're sort of getting a free trial as to what it's like in a weird sense.
It's magic, you know. When you think about
It's black magic.
yeah, back in the day, this is what they were aiming for. If this was, you know, if it was a case of like, I need to get this person to believe this somehow.
Yeah.
You know, this is it now. Like, just give them a screen. Okay, it's not exactly what we thought it would be, like some kind of spirit jumping into someone, but in a sense it is. But yeah, it's like, now give them a console and we'll be able to do it this way. Just give them the screen. Whatever they see, they believe it. Earlier on, we were watching you know, like the holographic whales and dolphins.
Okay.
Have you seen that shit? Like floating around in the sky.
Just like they're setting up like fake aquariums, is what you're saying? I haven't heard of it. But
it's
like,
kind of they're you know.
Is that
they're supposedly holographic? Like
it's
at
a
a concert
by the band Fish.
Oh yeah. That's
okay.
It. In New York somewhere, and it's apparently meant to be, what is it? Hologram.
Yeah,
holograms.
Well, this is how people were sending it around, going like, "Look, this is the Project Blue Beam or whatever. You know, this is what they can do. This is, you know." And bam, we're going like, "Look, so these are like holographic whales swimming around in the sky, and everyone can see them to the point where people are filming them and everything." And you're looking at them, it's like, how is that working? Like, how are they really doing that? As you start looking closely, you can see like the dolphins look like they're kind of balloons or something. You know, they just got this kind of, there's a bit of engraving on their stomachs and certain areas on their back that look more like they would be kind of balloon. And you start seeing that the light is reflecting off of it. And you're like, would that happen on a hologram? How do they make that happen on a hologram?
Yeah, I was about to say, you gotta pull it up. I'm trying to find it.
I'm just bringing it's on screen now.
Yeah, I see it right here.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Wait a second. Wait, are these holograms? Or are those not like stringed balloons that are like?
Well, that's the thing. So
are you sure, bro?
Yeah.
Like, that shit looks like
that's what I'm saying.
balloon,
so
bro.
people are sending it around, going like, "Yeah, shit. Look, this is what they could do now with holograms and whatnot." Lo and behold,
Hold
these
the
are
front door,
balloons.
bro. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, these are balloons with drones in them.
No, there's got to be a balloon, bro.
Yeah,
It
bruv.
is. They're balloons with drones in them, it turns out. But everyone
Something like that. Or
Everyone
like a
thinks
string,
that they're
like-
holograms, but they're not. All you've got to do is have a
Yeah.
little read, and it will just tell you
I was-
that they're not holograms.
Yeah, they're not holograms.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I don't know
that's
if
how it
it's
works.
a hologram, but they can definitely do very interesting stuff with this technology, this whole hologram technology. I mean, they're trying to ease it in with like, you know, concerts right now, get people kind of, you know, used to the idea of seeing it in their common day reality. It's like, go to a concert and experience it, you know, with your favorite artist.
Yeah.
So people just, again, you're always eased into everything. They'll never just like totally dump you into something. They'll always ease you into it. Even with what we experienced with you know, the last 3 years, we were eased into it prior to it from film and media through the idea of experiencing a pandemic.
But what I would say is a lot of it was planted in our minds as opposed to actually being real. And because of that, I feel like even things like this, or like, you know, that's why we're pointing this out, is that they can show this and then people think it's a hologram when it actually isn't. So do they have the technology to really pull off something like this? You know what I mean? Or is
Time
it
will
just
tell.
something? Is it just something else that they plant in our heads to believe is true and create the influence, the influenza? So we start spreading it amongst ourselves because we're all in that same mind frame.
That's a great point.
You know,
That's a great point. 100%. You know, I think, yeah, they definitely like to stir the pot with what they can do, and then, yeah, like you said, have it get blown up in sort of a conspiracy world, and then, yeah, it really clings to people. Some people hold on to a certain theory or something, and they can't let it go. And
yeah, it's part of the magic.
it's black
right?
magic.
Yeah,
Yeah, like you said, a lot of people are like, well, it's not spirits in my face. Like, oh, what do you mean? It's like, no, what you said earlier was perfect. Like, it's through a screen. Like they're doing it through a screen. It's just slightly different than what your head might have imagined, but it's still doing the same thing to your brain and head that they want it to. You know,
Well, there's,
might not have been the way that you thought you were going to get mentally fucked, but
yeah,
they figured it out.
You know what I mean?
They figured it out a long time ago.
Trust,
Actually,
man.
that's there you go. I remember what I wanted to say. Going back to the whole black magic is, and you know, the Jesuits and the church and whatnot, and their influence. A man by the name of Athanasius Kircher was a German Jesuit scholar, and he was the one that made what is called the magic lantern, and that is basically the earliest inventions of like cinema. And he had he had a way to essentially use like images and share them for like, you know, project them onto the wall. And people were so fascinated by it, obviously, when it came out. You know, this is like, we're talking the 1600s, and people are just mind blown. And they started to realize really quickly how powerful this technology was back then. They're like, oh, you know, we want people to follow a narrative. Well, what if we make it in a way that is visually appealing to them? And then we work on sound. And, you know, now you fast forward all the way into today's age, you got like mood music in films. So, you know, the way the music will work with the scenes will be paired together. And it's all just to keep you in this, like, trance. You know, this mental mind frame, really hook you in.
Yeah. Keep you in this trance, start implanting things into your mind. There's like, speaking of the screens, there's that story, Dan, that you had. I remember you told me about, what was it, someone who found some kind of ancient mirror or black mirror type thing that could summon up, was it they could summon voices? Or
the story of John Dee. Yeah, so he has a black obsidian stone that he uses to scry with. So it's a way of, you know, viewing the other world, basically. So they use these scrying stones to retrieve information from the other world. And he reportedly got to the point where he could summon a demon or an angel. He called them angels. Summon an angel, give them a message, and then someone in Prague could summon the same angel and retrieve the message. So, yeah, you know, that's. But how I mean, even now they use the word demon for internet message carrying. So the thing that carries your message from one computer to another over the network has a demon attached to it. So
interesting.
You might get an email. If you get an email when it didn't send, it says mailer demon returned this email with no email recognized or whatever. So that mailer demon is just that's the name of the little packet that sort of carries
the middleman.
Stuff. Yeah, the middleman.
Is it spelled DAEMON?
Yeah, spelled in the old way as well. Yeah, demon. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is how they spelled it in John Dee's time as well.
Okay.
John Dee.
And it's a black mirror, a black mirror that he's using. So it's not dissimilar to computers, really, what he was doing. So maybe he had found another way of actually sending information, and it was just sort of, a different way of doing it to the way we've got of doing it.
Definitely. Yeah. And I mean, now we're obviously at a time where they're only getting better and more advanced with what they have to work with. And it's interesting how it's playing out. Kind of going back to sort of switch it up in a way. I'm watching this show right now. I don't know how I came across it, but it's called Manifest, and it's on Netflix. And the show is about how this people on a plane, they took a flight. They're coming back from Jamaica to New York, and then the flight just experiences some crazy turbulence, and then they end up landing. And then when they land, they get like a whole bunch of police come by, and then they're like, wait a second, what is your flight doing here? And then they're like, what do you mean? Like, we're landing back from our trip from Jamaica. Like, all the people on the flight are like, what? And then the police are like, you guys have been dead for 5 years. Like it's
right.
you guys left in 2013, but it's 2018 now. Like how are you guys even here? You know, like everybody thought you're
Wow.
like this whole plane was labeled dead. And essentially the show just goes through and shows you each character's day and life and how it panned out after this whole event. So anyways, I'm bringing this up because the show is playing off numerology a lot, actually. Right away in the show, you'll see the number 47. The number 47 is like a major Freemasonic occultic number that is often shown through film and TV, movies, etc. Like just an abundance use of that number. But also, the flight that they're on in the film is flight 828, and the girl, one of the main girls in the film, she's constantly connecting like numbers to like that flight. She's like, oh my god, like my mom's Bible verse that she lived by was 828, like Romans 828. And then you know this, I passed by this door and it was like door 828. And I'm bringing this all up because again, like these writers of these TV shows, these producers, they know what they're doing with their scripts in their cinematography and how things are shown and how they will plant things into us subconsciously as you consume it. And it's just so fascinating to see how it's done. Like ever since I've learned like Gematria, the amount of times I've seen it and heard it used in a TV show has like blown my mind. Like, you know, I've seen it. Have you guys seen the show Better Call Saul?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
I haven't watched all of it.
Man, it's crazy show. I can't lie. It's a pretty funny one. It's a good show, I'd say. But they use it a couple of times, especially because it's like about like a lawyer and shit. And
Cool.
the word judge equals 47. Time equals 47. Judges are often, you know, serving time to people in their black gown. The black gown goes back to like the black sun. The black sun is Saturn,
god of law.
It big time, exactly. And in the show, they like so in Gematria, sorry, the word time and judge equal 47. And you'll often hear them say whenever they're like talking about something in the courtroom, they'll be like, it was 47 years. You know, it was 47 times. Like, and that the judge is like, halt, like 47. Like it's just the amount of times they'll do it is crazy. They'll do it in all types of ways. You just would never imagine unless you knew
What on Better Call Saul?
How it's used. What's that? Sorry?
Is that mainly on Better Call Saul? You're saying that they a bunch of times you'll hear.
They do it a bunch of times. I remember experiencing it a lot, or seeing it a lot in like the later seasons, especially in the courthouse, is where it was used.
Wow.
There's also a show called, oh man,
crazy,
fuck,
man.
what's it called? Oh my god, it's a show about Timeless. That's what it's called. The show is called Timeless. And it's like, just real quick, they just go back in time and they like travel back to historical events and they have the opportunity to change the future. That's basically what the show's about. Like every episode's them going back to a different historical period of time. And at one point in the show, I think it's like the first episode, they go back in time to like Las Vegas and they walk into a casino and one of the dudes is just like, oh man, there's like 54 years worth of baseball games to bet on in here. And like in Gematria, the word baseball equals 54, major league, major league baseball, or is it major league? I can't remember. Let me double check now. Major league.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, sorry. Baseball equals 54 and whatnot. There's just a whole bunch of other things that not coming to my mind right now. But it's just it's crazy, man. It's crazy how they do it. But if you don't know about that whole little language and how these typically I don't want to say the JEWs who are working on these scripts and handling it, again, Kabbalah comes from them. They're definitely intertwining it with this film and TV and media and whatnot.
I was gonna say about the baseballs, like even the baseball pitch, isn't there something to do with that? That's kind of like 47-degree angle or whatever.
Oh, baseball is like a massive Freemasonic sport, and everything about baseball revolves around like the number 9 from like 9 innings. Oh, there's so much more, man. It's not coming to my head right now, but I actually do have a, not like self-promoting or anything, but I did post a video about it a little while back, because I was noticing a big trend with a lot of baseball players dying at the age of 54 or 45. Both numbers within gematria and baseball that are very relevant, and also both of those numbers break down and reduce to the number 9. 45 is the ninth triangular number, and now I'm looking at it now. There was so many baseball players were just oddly enough dying at this age, 45 and 54. And they use it repetitively. Baseball is definitely, there it is. So I'm just pulling it up right now. Like MLB, Major League Baseball equals 54. What else? MLB in full reduction equals 9. Again, there's 9 innings, 9 players on each team.
Wow.
So it goes deep, man. I'm not much of a sports dude, so there's definitely people that could really lay it out for you a little better than me. People who check out my page, they know I don't really post about sports too often, but they definitely the sport of baseball is Masonic for sure.
Yeah. I saw something about that. Like, even you can look at the pitch. And
that's what I was going to say. Was you on about the angle of the pitch?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. See, Dan's our in-house.
Yeah. Now I see it. Now my eye.
He's a carpenter, so he's got a little Masonic.
Yeah. If you look at the if you look at the field, it's literally like a Masonic compass, basically.
Yeah.
So it's like it's super strange, man. Yeah.
Wow.
There's here. I'll share. Someone actually made this very interesting image. Let me just quickly share this.
Jeez, that's deep, man. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
This image is very interesting. It gives you a little interesting of a perspective of what it actually, in terms of an actual field. You could really see that compass look
see it
to.
There?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And again, all sports, this is definitely something that people have a hard time dealing with. That they're rigged or controlled, but they 100% are, because again, it's money, it's influence, it's emotional energy harvesting. Like there is 100% incentive why they would do this. Plus, you just go back to the Roman Empire and how they used the chariot racing and the gladiator wars to distract the public, give them bread in circuses.
Yeah. See it right there.
That one's hard for people to wrap their heads around. That one takes sports. It's like, don't take my sports away from me. But it goes back to what we said earlier, right? Shattering reality.
Yeah.
Not people are ready for it. And I feel that. Take your time. When you're ready, you're ready.
The thing is about it is because the closest people can kind of imagine is wrestling. It's like professional wrestling or whatever. That's so people know
WWE and shit.
Yeah, WWE, all that stuff. Like, people know it's rigged, so
Big
they
time.
can handle that. But then when it's like,
I'm only joking.
Okay, I was like, oh shit, are you for real? I was like, I gotta lay this down. We're gonna
like, yo, nah, but that's
rolling your sleeves up.
When you realize, when you think about it, that's probably your first wake up call to reality, like the world, like after Santa and all that, after Santa ain't real, then it's like, what? Wrestling's not real. Oh, what? Like. But
that's a fact, dude. That hurts a lot of people.
Yeah,
I remember,
definitely.
That even hurt me, dog. I can't even lie. Like, when I was a young kid, I remember being really tapped into the WWE. Bro.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm telling you, I bought the fucking video games,
oh shit,
making characters, doing all 100%. I was one of those kids that was locked into it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Then it shattered your
but
dreams,
yeah, exactly. The point you're saying is facts, because people will accept that. The fact that it's choreography, basically. It's scripted. It's all, it's like a play. It's like theater, basically. It's a touring theater. And it's like, no, it is what it is. It's entertaining. And eventually that's what's going to happen with sports. I swear, at one point, it's just going to be so obvious that it's rigged, but people are just going to be like, it's like cool theater at the end of the day. It's still exciting to watch.
Yeah. I mean, they seem to be playing on it now, right? I've been seeing, was it with the American football, they've started even talking about the things being scripted and then using that
Yeah,
as kind of
you're totally right. Yeah, there's been a couple of players saying like very cryptic, jokes about like, oh yeah, I got my script today and I'm ready to like go. Or you have the NBA or sorry, the NFL posting on like their Instagram like the script is done or the stage is set.
Yeah.
And they're really playing on words. You have like the majority of people saying, "Oh, they're just trolling you, conspiracy theorists. That's what they're doing it for."
Yeah.
I'm like, do you really think they care that much to troll a small sect of conspiracy theorists?
Yeah.
Like, I think they're doing it to troll the people who think there's nothing going on. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. They have been doing that a lot, and it's causing up quite a bit of stir. I think too, right? When they like, you have Kanye West. You guys remember recently he came out and said his mom was sacrificed. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
But
saw that.
yeah, like they have him saying all this stuff about the JEWs, going real vocal about it. They do this, they do that. I think honestly, like certain times they really don't mind this stuff coming out to the public. It's just like a matter of them once it's put out to control how they like think about it and like downplay it all the time. They're like, oh no, he's just crazy, or that's not it, or look who it's coming from. That can't be true. But
well,
I
think there's also a level of like there's either like they put them out there to say these sort of things to let us know, a little bit of truth, and then mask it up with a whole load of other rubbish. But as well as that, they make people start to worship, these entities, these names or whatever, these faces, and then those faces go out and do something that is embarrassing, that like you said, that Faustian bargain type situation. And then now you've put all your faith and your love and your, energy into this person that's a piece of trash. Like, what does that make you? Do you know what I mean? You've been following them all this time. So it kind of crushes a lot of different sections of society when they put these people out there.
I wonder as well whether there's a bit of hubris on the part of the people doing the controlling, because they're sort of in the last couple of years there's been more and more blatant stuff, and it's almost like they want to. They feel like they've got enough power now that they don't have to really hide it. They can just sort of put it out, and sometimes they don't even bother covering it up anymore because they've got so much power now.
Yeah. I think that as well. Like they feel like
I think that actually also shows the level of like brain frequency and where people are at in terms of being able to decipher what they're seeing, because they're just kind of like, yeah, we're at this point right now. Like you said, we could flex our arms. We could throw Satan on the screen. We could have Sam Smith do a whole satanic Grammy performance. Jeez. We could have Lil Nas X twerk on a devil and feed that to billions of kids. But it doesn't matter because people are so lost and their frequencies are so low that we can do that now. We've achieved something. Man. It's like they're testing it. Each time they do something more wild and more crazy and then see the public reaction, it's their way of like dipping their feet in the water. Is my kind of take on that.
Yeah, that's what I'd say as well. And it's with things like Kanye is that they don't even really. I mean, people have already got in their mind that he's a bit nutty anyway, and it wasn't much damage control to do with that.
Yeah,
really.
That's what I mean. They give you the fool. They give you the fool for you to follow. And then he's like, "Oh,
exactly."
Didn't he even say, "Oh, I forgive Balenciaga" or something like that? I think there was something that came out saying where he was like, he stands by them or something like that.
Yeah. It's just they give you the worst people to take very valuable information through, and then like you said, they muddy it. So that's where that whole controlled opposition, I guess, thing comes into play with celebrities being, seeming like they're going off the script and giving us information that's like in deep, but realistically, everything Kanye said was what people have already speculated on, and felt quite confident on their opinions about. He sacrificed his mom. Like, people were saying that damn near the after it happened. you know,
Yes.
and like 2007, it's like 2008, people are saying that. You know, 2009, people are saying that. So a lot of the stuff, what he said in particular too, it's like it's not even new. It might be new for some people, you know, hearing it, but yeah, they definitely dipped their feet in the water with that one. Same as like, you know, the whole Kyrie Irving thing as well. Kyrie Irving has always been used to talk about some sort of conspiracy, like since early on his career, from like flat Earth to, you know, him in his stance on COVID to him in his stance on, you know, the JEWs.
Right.
So they're always you know, using these people to put it out there, see how people grasp it, you know. And the majority of people will just always brush it off. They're just quick to be like, there's never anything deeper to it. You know.
Nah, and if they gave themselves a chance, like the video you did on Kyrie Irving, like I think just breaks it down to a level where you're like, okay, because you even understanding where he's come from, you know, like where he's been throughout childhood and then growing up, and then you see after all that, then you start to see all the numbers connecting. You're like, okay, this can't be.
It's weird. This is not, exactly. It's like, is this guy's career like really just like an organic career, or was this like manifested? Like you guys knew how you wanted this to happen. You knew what he was going to do. You knew how he was going to pan out. Like I'm not big on sports, but there was the whole LeBron James. I don't know if you guys are big on ball either, but they LeBron James passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and like the top NBA scorer in the league, and he did it at exactly like 38,000 points or something like that. Again, don't quote me, but it was just done in such a strange numerical, like perfect riddle that it's like these guys' careers and how these things pan out. There's definitely other forces at hand that are molding it and orchestrating it. How exactly?
How can they be scoring like exactly that amount at that time, so that day? Now that, you know, it's like, what? Like how? Who's making
extensive
sure
planning?
You know what I mean? It's crazy, bruv. It's crazy. Even the football stuff. Like I said, you know, like I know you said you don't get too deep into all of that, but some of the football stuff is just ridiculous. Where it's like, I don't understand how they can make sure that can happen. Like him scoring.
Well, you look at like the refs and the manipulation of gameplay during the time that it goes on. There's always there's times in the NBA or any sort of league where they'll run back the clock. You know, they'll like there's ways to manipulate it. And there's been times where it's come out in terms of refs being in on rigging and whatnot.
Good point.
Magnetic gloves in football, or at least, you know, football in the West. So or the magnetic technology and basketballs, the rim is a magnet. Like it goes very deep. So it's a matter of how much you're willing to look into it and invest your time into figuring it all out. But I always think, like, unfortunately, like they, not always maybe, but they'll definitely be 10 steps ahead of us. Like if you're figuring something out, it's probably because they wanted you to, in a sense, and they're already past it and they've already been able to fulfill what they've gotten out of that.
Do you think it's always like that? Do you think it's always a case of, or do you think there is anything that is possibly leaked by people that are within that are like, nah, this can't go on forever, man? I think
there's I wouldn't say a healthy balance at all, but I definitely do think there is some organic side of leaked information, things coming out. I that's my take. You know, someone might tell you, no, everything's fake, everything is scripted, and I'm like, I can't say that. I really can't say that. I'd be lying to people if I said that.
That's the same as all music is evil, though, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's the same people. Once you find out one thing's like, you're like, no, it's all it then. You know.
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
That's not how the world works, man.
I can see what they mean. You know, when people say like all music is evil, I can see what they mean. Yeah, in a way, all music is sort of evil, unless it's like hymns or something. You know, something that's like blatantly written for God. The rest of it is evil. But like you said earlier, it's just sort of people
take it to the extreme.
Yeah, same with the sport as well. You can't fix like Sunday League football matches for, you know, local teams down the park and all that sort of thing. That's
Yeah, exactly. They're like, so exactly. They'll say like, are those scripted? Then it's like, bro, chill. Like,
Although
we're talking about things with influence and money behind it, and corporate ties and power.
yeah.
These things are, there's an incentive for them to do some sort of scripting or ritual towards it.
But it would be interesting to try and do that just to see.
Say.
Yeah, just to see.
Coordinate like a little league.
Yeah, just some
Script. It's like,
league.
Jimmy, you're gonna score.
So what's your
on
name?
Wednesday
Like,
the 5th
what's his birthday?
at 2:55. You're gonna
yeah.
kick that ball, motherfucker. I swear to God, you're gonna kick that shit.
You know what I mean? Just to see, man. Just to see, because it's like, what? Oh, yeah, but amazing, man. Amazing.
Oh, I know what you mean, man. It's such a interesting, like, that is truly a whole other, I guess you could say, rabbit hole. But then it's like, where do you get that specific information? Like, of course, we've seen over time they use symbolism. People picked up on that. They use, you know, color symbolism. Okay, we picked up on that. Okay, now people are picking up on this numerical code and numbers being shown in movies, TVs, films, articles. So we're figuring out certain elements, you know, black magic through, you know, imagery, sound, frequency. But it's like, how do they piece it all together? How do they get us to go through this on a consistent basis, run these things on us, and just pull the wool over our eyes, you know? Yeah, it's fascinating, man. I mean, again, like, you can kind of say, for example, like with the whole pandemic, like, you know, how are they doing it? Well, it was definitely the mainstream media pushing this narrative. Like, we saw to an extent how they were doing it. You know, it's like, well, what they're doing is they're going into their broadcasting stations, they're whooping up headlines, and they're pumping them out on breaking news nonstop, left, right, and center.
Yeah, and they're
COVID
making sure that
COVID this.
Yeah, wherever you go as well, wherever you go, the same things happen.
Posters,
you go to any shops,
radio.
Yeah.
People are talking about it at your workplace. The fucking people you walk by are like, oh man, this COVID stuff. Yeah, I'm like, I don't even know you, dog. Like, why are we talking about this? Like, so yeah, we kind of see, but exactly how they piece it together, fuck, man. I would always tell people, if you're jumping into this and you want to start learning Gematria, don't get too hung up on that type of stuff. Just learn the basics first. Learn how to apply the numerical codes, spot the patterns. You know, you'll start to see how they do it, and from there you can always expand your knowledge. You know, everybody's got to be more humble too, man. Be willing to say I don't know if they don't know something. I think people feel like they have to like know everything, or be like some knowledgeable guru on everything. Like, I know it all. I'm the first to find this information, and that's me. I found it. You know, I figured it out. I predicted this happened. It's like, slow your roll here. What's the end goal? Is it for you to be some praised spiritual guru, or are you trying to put people on game and like really share information and have people learn? So that's the route I prefer to take. You know, share shit, man. Talk with people, chat with you guys, learn something, figure something out.
Yeah, man.
And just go back and apply it. That's basically all it is.
Yeah, that's what it's about right there, man. That's See Through the Script, mother lovers. Yo.
Yes, sir.
Good to catch up with you, brother, man. Serious.
Most definitely. It's getting late over there. Yeah, it's getting later down here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because we got...
I forgot you guys are like, what, 5 hours ahead of me? I'm up in Toronto, Canada, for those who don't know.
See.
Yeah, so it's half 12 for us.
Yeah.
God damn. Man. Well, guys, you know, I definitely appreciate you, you know, inviting me onto the platform again.
Oh, man.
I really do appreciate it. I love chopping it up with you guys.
Yeah, man.
It's always interesting to, you know, and fun to chat with people who see things in a similar realm as you. So, you know, you know, hopefully people enjoyed the conversation in the chat, man.
Yeah, man. I think they did, man. Definitely a lot of crew in there chatting away, man.
That's the best part, man, when you have your community just internally chatting while you're chatting, because that's what you want. You just want people to think about stuff that they didn't think about before.
Yeah, I always like to catch up on it as well after, like, to see what people are saying, and it's interesting, man. Like, you get a lot of information from people once you start, you know, like we're saying, conjuring up these different conversations. It starts to jog people into that mind frame, and you start to find out more stuff as well.
Yeah, it's always something new that comes out of it, definitely.
Exactly. You have to, that's the thing. Like, people always say, like, why talk about this stuff? well, if you don't talk about it, you'll never really learn to look at it from a different lens perspective and expand your knowledge. You'll always just, again, disregard it, and over time you will get smacked in the face with reality, and at one point wish you were more open-minded to what someone was bringing up to you at one point in your life.
Yeah.
So it's like, be willing to, there's a lot of people that have game, man. In the weirdest way, man. Sometimes even like homeless dudes have game. They be spitting random knowledge at you. It's like, what? Like, you never knew what type of life this dude lived, But people are always like quick to shoot the messenger. It's like, nah, don't take anything serious from this person or whatnot. Or again, people want to be this spiritual guru. I figured out this first. Yeah. I put the video out on this first. I did, like, I swear, I know this is true for a fact. Everything's fake. Like, I'm just like, man, I can't trust you. I'm sorry, but something about you, if you think like that, I know you're more egotistical than anything. You're not doing this for the purpose you might claim you are.
Trying to be a know-it-all.
I know it all, to say the least, man. Most definitely.
And that's what I always say, man. Like you mentioned earlier, like I think one of the most intelligent things you can say at times is "I don't know." And then you
swear to God, bro. Swear to God, it's tough for people because they don't want to seem dumb, or like people think you know so much more than you do. But it's like, hey, yo, like, if I don't know something, bro, I don't know. And you can put me on game, and I will go research it, and then I'll know it for the future. And I thank you for that.
Yeah, exactly. Man, you're very grounded for someone who has to wade through this sewage.
I like that. Wade through the sewage.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's a bumpy world, man.
Oh, man, it's like, bruv, the stuff that sometimes I just look at them like, yo, this is nuts, man. Like, how can it be? Do you know what I mean? But you seem to be very grounded, and man, that's inspirational, bro. For real.
I appreciate that, man. You guys as well, bro. And for real, like, I really fuck with the music you're putting out, man.
Oh,
for real.
Thanks, brother, man. Thank you, man.
Like, definitely. Cheers, like, man. I even said it in my story. I was like, this guy's a real deal spitter, man. Like, he knows how to rap.
Man. I appreciate that, bro. Thanks for posting the stuff as well, man.
Of course, man. Of course, man. It goes both ways. Again, I appreciate the love, guys, and I appreciate you guys having me on. Man. Definitely do it again. I hope to like start doing streams myself.
I was gonna ask
again. It's been a minute since I've done streams. I've kind of transitioned into the video format side of things. But if I ever do a stream, you guys are more than welcome to hop on, man, and come through. Chat with my peoples over here and whatnot, and share community, basically.
Yeah. That would be dope.
That'd be fun.
Definitely, man. Yeah, let's talk about that for sure, bruv. Yes,
all right,
man.
Guys. Well,
thank you, man.
Again,
See through the script.
I appreciate it.
Yes, man. Fire much emojis, love. Mother lovers.
Much love, guys. Much love.
Yes, man.
Till next time, yeah?
Yes, man. Bless, man. Thank you for coming through.
All right, peace and love, everybody.
Peace, man.
Later.
Yes, that was See Through the Script right there, man. Numerologist extraordinaire. He goes into history as well, man, with his stuff. So it's really interesting. Definitely check out his YouTube channel. Also follow him on Instagram. We'll post that in the comment section as well as in the description for all you mother lovers who might just be listening. You have to type in on your search engine, mother lovers, and find out some more. That was deep, man. That was deep.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, man. I was looking forward to catch up with him because, boy, the amount of work he's been putting in with his videos, bruv. I was like, right. You can see the progression as well, like he's saying, he's enjoying it more. So you can see that. And then just like the depth, like I was saying, like the fact that he links in quite a bit of history behind even the meaning of certain words, or whether it be like the cultures or whatever to do with, and then after that, then you start seeing how the numbers link up, and you're like, man, hey, I can't argue with this, man. So yeah, that was good, man. Definitely catch him online whenever you can, man. Always updates. You know what I mean, on the regular. For all you mother lovers out there. That's what we do, man, right here. Some shit you might never know nothing about. Man, we want to thank everyone for coming through, man, and locking in Who do we have, man? Who do we have?
it's
Big
well
up
acted.
to Yamar. Shouts out to King Chico. Yes, big up to Oshi. Shout to Gleam. Shout to Jaeger. Wow, we had Jaeger in the building as well. Hey, that's wicked, man. Shout to Latral, BLA, Liz Williams, IBMCs, big up. Yep. Yeah, some shit you might not never know nothing about, man. Always here. Oh, so shout to Gematria Wombat for coming through. Yeah, people went, well, you lot were going in, man. Turbo Tubalicious, Black Einstein, always. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. I think I'm going to get into it a bit more. Try and break down my Gematria jugglings. Like we didn't even get into the whole, like, the idea of behind the organic Gematria as well, which is quite interesting. And that's where, you know, like he was saying about where you kind of, after a while, you just have to leave it to, like, okay, there's some higher level shit going on that no one can really, no one's involved in type thing. It's like a being, some being.
It's the woke view of it. You start off with the broke view is that there's no such thing as Gematria. There's no control. Then you got like the the sort of next level up, and you're like, everything's controlled by people doing Gematria. And the third one's like, you can't control it. It's like the ascended view, the ascended view of Gematria.
Oh boy, jeez, that's where it gets to, isn't it? Like, you get to that point where you're like, oh
it's
wow,
out of our control. Someone else is controlling.
A
higher power is controlling the people who do Gematria.
Yeah, I can't call it. Like, that's where it gets to. Like, I can't call it because this is, and that's, it goes to like what we're thinking about. It's like, right, is it just how many Oompa Loompas are there in this big, massive, you know what I mean? Like warehouse, like working away at numbers and birth dates and. Oh man!
They're still using bits of paper. Do they use computers?
Yeah.
Are they running down? One's running down the hall with a piece of paper with someone's birth date and.
Hold on, wait a minute.
I've got it. I've got his actual birth time. We've put this in the press
is
release.
That like, I wonder if that's like what's that film, man? There's an animation. Oh, I've forgotten the name of it, but it's I think it's Jamie Foxx plays like the piano player, and then he dies and then comes back.
What is that?
I think, does he come back as his cat or something like that? I've forgotten the name of it. But yeah, anyway. But it's kind of like, crazy, man. Big up to all the crew that were locked in, man. We appreciate you, mother lovers. Shout to Irish, yes, and Torain. The CMOS boss, of course. Shout to Alton Barnett. Man, people went in, boy. Thanks a lot for locking in. We'll be back next week, mother lovers, with another guest, hopefully. We'll put the word out for you. Please hit the like button, share, subscribe. Make sure you get hooked up to the SYMNNKNA Instagram as well as the Twitter.
And Odyssey, if you've got Odyssey.
Yep, we're going to be jumping on Odyssey. You know what I mean? Odyssey, they can't block us, see.
Yeah.
Once we get on Odyssey, that's it.
It's over. It's our year. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get on this year.
You know what people say, it's our year. It's my year, bruv. You know what I mean? This year is my year. That's all I want. Just this 1 year, and that's it. The rest of my life, what's it? You can have it. Like, is that what you mean? Yeah, man. Salute for coming through, man. We'll be back again.
Oh, Flavour of the Month.
Oh, yeah.
This Sunday.
Yeah, have you got the flyer ready? Or let's see if we can get that out, man. Flavour of the Month. It's Sunday, yeah?
Sunday, yeah. All day.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
It's the... obviously 50 years of hip-hop. That's going to be all over the place.
50 years of hip-hop.
This year, so this one is a 50 years of hip-hop, but I think there's quite a lot of old UK artists playing. I'm just trying to find the thing.
Yeah. It's gonna be pretty much a madness of a roadblock. You got people like Caveman. Yeah, you got Rodney P there. Who else you got? There's quite a few. Like the old schoolers gonna be rocking. So it's gonna be an interesting one, man.
Oh man, I can't
Is it
find
the? I think I got it up on here.
Can't find the.
Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting one, definitely. You know what I mean? Get to see. I like SeeThruTheScript doing the thing that he does all the time, man. That's what he's supposed to
I
be,
spoke to Theo
man.
about it. He said it was really good, the last flavour of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said it was a really cool night. They had 279 DJing, and then he sort of stops, and then he like asks the crowd questions and things like that, and it's all, you know, he's all
wicked.
He's really into it, so
Yeah. That's
the main thing.
So he's got Rodney P, MC Duke, Outlaw Force. Wait. Oh, this thing. Outlaw Force, you know. Hold on. Outlaw Posse. Well, what the hell is going on here, man?
I got it. I got it up. Let me get it on screen.
Oh, it shrunk. And then all of a sudden.
Let me get it on screen. There we go.
Yeah. I was reading the fourth. Yeah. So we got Rodney P, MC Duke, MC Caveman. We got Blade, Cutmaster Swift, Dolby D, Outlaw Posse, The Force, DJ Business, and DJ 279. That's Sunday, the 26th February, 2023, mother lovers, at the O2 Islington Academy. Oh, boy. There's going to be more acts to be announced as well.
Yeah.
50 years of hip-hop, flavor of the month, 26th of Feb. That's this Sunday, then.
Yeah. I'll be wearing the wall shoes.
You'll be wearing the Walshes. I'll be there in the barefoot. Vivo barefoots, raggo. Don't give a damn what man say. I'll be on stage with them shits, feeling comfortable while you're like, well, I can't wait to sit down and take my shoes off. Yeah, boy. But yeah, man, so you lot make it down if you can, because we'll be there celebrating. Celebration, man, the whole year. Jeez.
Yeah.
It's going to get crazier and crazier, I'm telling you. Yes, man. Peace and love to each and every one. Thank you to my brother Dan DNA for holding me down on the boards.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
My pleasure.
Big up to Gematria Wombat, Blackfoot from the Never Wash tribe. Yes, man. All right. Salute to all you mother lovers. Do you know what I mean? You know what time it is right about now? It's that time to be out. It's my Stiggy on the mic, and you know what I'm about. It's Dan DNA. My D-I-double-G-I. I've got to say, this is some shit you might not never know nothing about. And guess what, mother lovers? We're out.